Chapter 166. Muronging had mentioned to him that there was a martial art called Tai Chi in the martial arts world. However, those old men and old ladies practiced it as outer Tai Chi, while the real experts practiced it as inner Tai Chi. Inner Tai Chi martial arts relied on internal energy as a foundation. The man in front of him, Yen Kai, had a profound Tai Chi skill. With a Tai Chi cloud hand, he divertedly fanned strength to one side, causing Li Fan to be stunned. Too weak. I can handle you with one hand. Yen Kai boasted. His confidence made Li Fan feel very annoyed. People should be confident, but overconfidence would make them a pervert. Li Fan kicked out with one leg, aiming straight for Yen Kai's cheek. However, Yen Kai still extended his hand and placed it on Li Fan's ankle, then pulled. Li Fan's ankle was grabbed. Basically, he followed his own strength and took a big step. If it wasn't for Li Fan's flexible body, the muscles in his leg would definitely be strained. This was the first time he fought with a Tai Chi expert, so Li Fan was a little unskilled and suffered 2 losses in a row. It seems that you can't even beat one of my hands. To actually send me to deal with you, it's really a waste of talent. Yen Kai was very impatient. It's a waste of talent. However, at this moment, Li Fan suddenly used a simple black tiger steel's heart, aiming straight for Yen Kai's chest. Still don't know your lesson. Yen Kai curled his lips and swung his ponytail. Then, he wanted to grab Li Fan's wrist. However, at this moment, Li Fan's wrist suddenly shook, and he used his arm to lock Yen Kai's arm. Yen Kai was a little surprised, but Li Fan's 5 fingers were like the fangs of a venomous snake, biting down. However, Yen Kai was, after all, an expert. His neck was also covered with a stream of true qi. This true qi deflected Li Fan's attack and neutralized most of the force. Yen Kai coughed twice and pushed Li Fan away. He took 2 steps back and rubbed his neck. What kung fu is this? Dog-beating divine art. Li Fan said very seriously. How dare you humiliate me? Humiliating a handsome man is a crime, you know. Yen Kai seemed a little unhappy. You're right, so I'm not guilty at all. Li Fan flashed his middle finger at Yen Kai. Because you're not a handsome guy. At most, you're a beautiful lady boy. I'm angry. Yen Kai lost his temper. I only wanted to cripple you, but now I want to kill you. Li Fan rolled his eyes and thought to himself, do you think I should thank you? Yen Kai, this egomaniac. Tai Chi cloud hand. Yen Kai took a good posture. This fellow no longer used one hand to act cool. He used both of his hands and leaped towards Li Fan. Tai Chi had always been a defensive attack. Now that Yen Kai actually took the initiative to attack, this made Li Fan somewhat surprised. Yen Kai just used an ordinary palm to slap Li Fan. Li Fan lowered his body and dodged Yen Kai's palm.
This palm landed on the SUV next to him, flattening a piece of the SUV's door. The power of this palm was definitely not light. Inner Tai Chi also had such a powerful destructive power. This opened up Li Fan's eyes. However, he did not expect that the real inner Tai Chi performance was yet to come. Yen Kai's palm actually sucked the SUV. With a shake of his arm, the SUV smashed down towards Li Fan's head. Fuck tofu. Li Fan lay on the ground, shook his arms, and entered the posture of the toad strike. He slid back more than 5 meters on the ground, avoiding the SUV. Bang! The SUV heavily smashed into the ground. The car was in a mess and the parts kept falling to the ground. When the owner of the car saw his beloved car in such a state, he would probably cry. Bang! With another heavy sound, Yen Kai's palm changed from suction to force. The SUV turned into a cannonball and shot straight at Li Fan. Li Fan entered the deer strike technique stance and turned around to kick the SUV that shot over. Under the state of the deer strike technique, Li Fan's leg strength greatly increased. This kick immediately sent the SUV flying backwards. As for Yan Kai, he leaped over and slapped Li Fan's forehead with his palm. However, Li Fan extended his hands and grabbed Yan Kai's wrist, forcefully locking his attack. Yan Kai frowned. As for Li Fan, he twisted his body and kicked out with both feet. In midair, he kicked Yan Kai's body one after another, causing Yan Kai's body to erupt with waves of energy. After a series of 9 kicks, Li Fan kicked Yan Kai's chest and the two of them separated in midair. Yan Kai landed on the ground and took 3 steps back. Finally, he reached out to hold on to a small car to stabilize his body. However, Li Fan shook his right leg. The leg technique of the deer strike technique was powerful and its attack power was twice that of a fist technique. Each of the 9 kicks was like a cannonball, causing Yan Kai to suffer some internal injuries. "You have some skills," as Yan Kai spoke, he took out a small mirror and a comb from his chest and began to tidy his hair. "In that case, there's no need for me to show mercy. Fuck. I spent 50 yuan on my hairstyle." Yan Kai tidied up his hairstyle with heartache. Li Fan was a bit speechless. Was this the time to care about personal image? "Look at my fringe, is it tidy?" Yan Kai kept asking Li Fan. Li Fan couldn't help but scold, "Fuck you. Have you ever seen an enemy give you aesthetic? The two of us are fighting, not shopping for clothes, okay? You really don't have any taste." Yan Kai rolled his eyes. Compared to fighting, hairstyle is more important. Have you ever heard of this saying, blood can flow, head can be cut, but hair cannot be messed up? What the hell is all this nonsense? Wouldn't it not be messed up if you cut your bald head? A man without taste is not on the same level as me.
Yan Kai somewhat disdainfully rolled his eyes at Li Fan. "Fighting with you is really a disgrace to my taste. Are all of you genie guards chatterboxes?" Li Fan couldn't help but ridicule, "Every one of you is so annoying. Then let me accompany you for a serious fight," Yan Kai said as he stretched out his hands and stood in the middle of the parking lot. The power of inner Tai Chi burst out. The surrounding cars actually slowly flew up and then began to revolve around Yan Kai and Li Fan. "Fuck, what the hell is this?" Li Fan felt this inexplicable power. It was like a magnetic field. When inner Tai Chi was trained to a certain level, it could actually achieve such an effect. Domineering. Even Li Fan couldn't help but admire this Yan Kai. This Yan Kai really has some ability. Yan Kai waved his hand and the surrounding cars all came crashing down on Li Fan's head. Chapter 167. All of a sudden, with so many cars falling towards Li Fan felt a little numb. But he couldn't admit defeat just like that. So what if it was inner Tai Chi? His 7-hero fist wouldn't lose to anyone. Li Dan immediately took a deep breath, clasped his hands together, and gathered his true chi in his body. But one breath wasn't enough. Li Fan took another deep breath, and at that moment, Yan Kai felt suffocated. Just like that, it was as if Li Fan had sucked all the oxygen out of the parking lot. Swallow. God. Toad. Yan Kai was an expert, so Li Fan had to use all his strength to deal with him. He stretched out his hands, and continuously struck at the cars in front of him. Truth Ursa Major Seal. Every time Li Fan struck out with his palm, a huge black bear seemed to appear in the air. His palm landed on the cars, causing them to be dented one by one. In the sky-swallowing toad state, Li Fan used his true chi to the extreme, and displayed the demeanor of an expert. Yan Kai frowned, and with a clap of his hands, the remaining 3 cars smashed towards Li Fan. But Li Fan clasped his hands together, and his true chi sank into his dantian. Lu Xinan, who was behind him, felt a sense of suffocation. At the same time, a huge toad condensed from true chi appeared in front of Li Fan. This toad followed the movements of Li Fan's hands, and spat out a white pearl. True golden toad spitting pearl. This huge ball of chi flew out, and hit the 3 cars. Bang! The 3 cars were sent flying, and scattered to the side. Yan Kai looked at the 3 cars, and was a little surprised. What kind of martial art is this? Why does it feel like little phaseless magic? He found it strange, it shouldn't be. In today's martial arts world, shouldn't only the embroidered uniform guards know little phaseless magic? The world is big, and there are many strange things. Li Fan stretched out his hands and assumed the starting stance of the 7 Heroes Fist. Remember, this fist technique of mine is called the 7 Heroes Fist. You don't look like much, but you sure talk big. Yan Kai curled his lips. Calling yourself a hero, aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Aren't you a little too narcissistic? Fuck, are you qualified to say that? Since that's the case, it's time for me to show some of my true skills. Yan Kai said as he touched his waistband with one hand. Then, he pulled out his waistband and held it in his hand. Fuck, what are you doing? Li Fan was shocked and subconsciously took a step back. Yan Kai grabbed the waist of his trousers with his left hand and the belt with his right. With a shake of his hand, the belt suddenly hardened like an iron ruler in his hand. Ignorant. This is called true chi concentration. Yan Kai rolled his eyes at Li Fan. It's too inconvenient to carry a sword around in modern society. With this belt in hand, my Taiji sword can be unsheathed at any time. Then what is your left hand doing? Why are you holding the waist of your trousers? You're a little silly. If I didn't hold on to my trousers, they would have fallen off. Fuck, I thought you were preparing some kind of internal force. Li Fan breathed a sigh of relief. You scared me. Little brat, don't talk too much. Take this. Yan Kai said as he stabbed his belt at Li Fan. His Taiji sword technique was very exquisite. The belt seemed to have a strong suction force, pulling Li Fan's body, causing Li Fan to subconsciously move closer to the belt. Fuck, what is this? A mysterious item. A gay man's belt. It has the ability to attract all men. Of course, this was just Li Fan's ridicule. All of this was caused by Yan Kai's powerful internal Taiji skill. This guy should be a disciple of Wudong. Why did he go to the Imperial Secret Service? If you can take this, I'll follow you in the future. Yan Kai was full of confidence. This sword was his ultimate skill. Good. When Li Fan heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. Although this sword gave him a very terrifying feeling, it was also an interesting thing to be able to subdue a little brother like Yan Kai. He stretched out his hands and gathered them in front of his body. The belt pierced over with a powerful suction force. The small handbag in Lu Xinan's hand was directly sucked over. When it was near the belt, it was directly crushed into pieces. Fuck. Li Fan's eyes widened. This move was definitely ruthless. Taiji, although it looked mellow and gentle, it was actually a hidden killer. Li Fan believed that if he got close to the Taiji sword formed by the belt, he would definitely be pulled over and crushed into pieces. Li Fan was also ruthless. In a fight between experts, one move was enough to determine the outcome. He stretched out his hands and a strong burst of true chi burst out from his palms, pulling the belt. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The Taiji sword in Li Fan's hands kept trembling as if it was trying to break out of an invisible cage. Yan Kai furrowed his brows and poured even more vital energy into his waistband. Cold sweat appeared on Li Fan's back. This move was indeed strong. It could be seen how terrifying Yan Kai's strength was. But no matter how strong he was, this old man will fuck his mother. Li Fan mobilized all the true qi in his body. His dantian almost let out a moaning sound. Real. Gold. Toad. Puff. Pearl. Li Fan roared and ignited his true qi to the limit. Then he pushed out with both hands. A huge wave of qi immediately exploded. Although a white pearl did not form, it shook the belt and caused it to bounce out. With a clang, it stabbed into the ceiling above his head. Yan Kai took another 3 steps back. His feet pressed against the pillar behind him, leaving a half-foot deep footprint on the pillar. Li Fan only took a step back and spat out a mouthful of turbid air. Forcefully using the heaven-swallowing toad martial arts would also cause a lot of burden on his dantian. In the fight between Li Fan and Yan Kai, he only won by 1 move. This guy was really too strong. This Dao Grandpa actually lost. Yan Kai did not dare to believe his eyes. Since he was young, he was practically soaked in a honey pot. He was a talented genius and had never met his match. Now that he actually lost to a person younger than him, his heart was a bit unable to accept it. What's the point of me living? I might as well die. With that, Yan Kai suddenly slammed his head into the pillar beside him. Are you crazy? Li Fan pulled Yan Kai. Isn't it just losing once in a fight? What's the big deal? Is there a need to want to die? Only the Japanese use the method of cutting the abdomen. Are you the same as them? This Dao Grandpa's skill is inferior to others. There's no value in living. Yan Kai said hatefully. Then in the future, just win against me once. Li Fan curled his lips. As a man, you don't even have this bit of awareness. Fine, this Dao Grandpa will go back and practice. When I come back, I will compete with you again. Yan Kai thought about it. It was indeed like this. He did not care about his task anymore. He turned around and left. Fuck this tofu, Li Fan suddenly remembered something. Didn't he say that he would be his underling if he lost?
Chapter 168. Accompanying Lu Xinnan for a stroll, Li Fan felt that he was in grave danger. Venomous woman, we might not be compatible. Before getting off the car, Li Fan said this to Lu Xinnan. I think it's better for us to meet less in the future. This is also for the sake of our mutual safety. Humph, after attending school for so many years, you're still so superstitious. Lu Xinnan rolled her eyes. I really wasted my time attending school. But I heard that Spirit Heart Temple's talismans can ward off evil spirits. Ah, is that so? I'll get someone to get one later. Fuck, I thought you're not superstitious. Sometimes I also need to respect China's ancient culture. Lu Xinnan coughed dryly. Anyway, wait for my news. You can't ignore my call, understand? It's fine if I pick you up normally, but I still have to attend classes, right? Li Fan doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why did he pick up Lu Xinnan's call for no reason? Nothing good will come out of it. You're going to be a rich man soon, why are you still attending school? How about this, you can pick any of China's famous universities and I'll arrange for you to attend classes. You, Miss Lu, are very capable, but I'm not a gigolo. Li Fan won't accept Lu Xinnan's charity, I'll rely on my own ability. I'll go wherever I go. I can't talk to you anymore, I'm getting off. You're home. Lu Xinnan looked at the beautiful bungalow outside the car in surprise. Shouldn't your family be living in a pigsty? Fuck, even if the place I lived in was a bit run down, it's not a pigsty, okay? Hearing this, Li Fan felt very uncomfortable. Venomous woman, although you live in a big house and drive a big car, there's one thing I want to tell you. No matter how small your home is, as long as it has the taste of home, it's a harbor. Fine, you're lecturing this lady again. This lady is too lazy to listen. You can live in a big house if you're rich. Also, where do you live? Hurry up and tell me so I can send you there. I'll live here. Li Fan pushed open the car door and was about to get out. Don't you dare barge in just for the sake of face. One look and you can tell that this is a wealthy family. Looking at the 2 rows of bodyguards at the door, Lu Xinnan felt that something was wrong. Welcome home, son-in-law. Who would have thought that these 2 rows of bodyguards would directly bow to Li Fan? That respectful appearance was indeed not faked. Lu Xinnan was stunned. What was going on? The door of the room was pushed open, and a one-eyed bald man stood there, smiling at Li Fan. Son-in-law, you're back. Son-in-law. What was going on with the son-in-law? Lu Xinnan subconsciously felt that something was wrong. She had heard this sentence before. Li Fan said that he had a fiancé before. But how was this possible? Li Fan was just a high school student. How could he have a fiancé? No, I must follow him to take a look.
Lu Xinnan got out of the car and was about to follow Li Fan in. Miss, please don't come near. The 2 rows of bodyguards immediately blocked Lu Xinnan outside. This was the first time she had received such treatment. What are you doing? Don't you know who our missy is? Yu Feng immediately walked over and pushed the leading bodyguard. But the bodyguards of Murong's family were all skilled. Yu Feng's push actually did not move them. Li Fan looked back and felt a headache. Fuck, why did you guys follow me here? This Lu Xinnan was too curious. Why did she follow me here? Son-in-law, this guest is. Tai Zhu glanced at Lu Xinnan. He was a little curious, but he still abided by his duty. Don't worry about her. Let's go home. Li Fan wanted to go back and meditate in seclusion to restore his true qi. He felt that Lu Xinnan was his jinx. Nothing good would come out of following her. Since you're a guest, please come in and take a seat. Unexpectedly, Murong Ying's voice came from inside the house. Li Fan immediately felt a headache. Damn, what's wrong with Murong Ying today? In the past, she did not let anyone near her. Why is she so curious today and even let Lu Xinnan in? She's still a guest. She's so bored. If that's the case, Missy, please come in. The 2 rows of bodyguards immediately gave way. But Yu Feng wanted to follow in but was stopped. It's okay. With Li Fan here, I'll be fine. Lu Xinnan was bold but careful. She waved her hand and let Yu Feng stay outside. This famous woman in City A followed Li Fan into his house. Today, she must find out who Li Fan's fiancé was. She couldn't be stronger than her. Absolutely impossible. For the first time, Lu Xinnan felt nervous. She was considered a big shot in City A. Who would she be nervous to see? She's just a woman. What's there to be afraid of? She can't be prettier than me. But as she entered the house and saw the woman sitting in the living room, Lu Xinnan was finally stunned. Who is this? At that moment, Lu Xinnan actually had a kind of bright and beautiful feeling. In this world, there was actually such a beautiful woman. She seemed to have walked out of a painting. She was otherworldly and did not look like a girl that should exist in the city at all. I'm sorry, I didn't know that I'd invited a guest today. Murong Ying acted like the hostess, which made Lu Xinnan unhappy. The 2 introduced themselves first, and then Murong Ying smiled at Lu Xinnan. I didn't prepare in advance, so I neglected you. I'm really sorry. I didn't expect that Li Fan would have such a beautiful fiancé. Lu Xinan was stunned for a few seconds, but she quickly reacted, seeing her today, she's really as beautiful as a fairy. You're too polite. You're also an outstanding beauty. I didn't expect that Li Fan would have such a friend. The two women's words had hidden meanings. The two seemed to have carried out a smokeless battle. As an ordinary high school student, Li Fan could have such skills. I'm afraid it was you who taught him. Although Lu Xinan did not know the identity of Murong, she was an extremely smart woman. She could guess it with a little thought. Yes, he can be considered as my half-disciple. Murong nodded her head proudly, but his strength is still too far away. I've let you see a joke. He's already very powerful. I wonder how is your kung fu? Lu Xinan somewhat provocatively looked at Murong. After all, I'm also doing well in a city. I also have some experts around me. These ordinary experts can't enter my eyes. This Miss Lu's tone of speech is really not small. But my name should also be considered to enter your eyes. After all, I'm this term's ruling chief, the successor of the Murong clan. Hearing this, Lu Xinan was really stunned for a moment. Chapter 169. Lu Xinan stares blankly for a moment. Such a big background. She originally thought that she was just a rich young miss. She didn't expect her identity to be so shocking. Murong's family, martial arts alliance leader. She can't be bragging, right? Lu Xinan subconsciously looks at Li Fan. Li Fan nods his head repeatedly. It's true. Lu Xinan is slick, but at this moment, she suddenly doesn't know what to say. She originally wanted to show off her status. She didn't expect that not only would she not be able to do so, she would also be checkmated. But a dignified martial arts alliance leader, how could she be so young, and how could she fancy Li Fan? There must be a mistake somewhere. How could there be a girl who likes Li Fan? He. There must be a mistake, Lu Xinan laughs dryly. But she doesn't know why. After laughing twice, she can't laugh anymore. This Miss Lu, our family's Li Fan, is simple-minded and easily deceived. If he's outside, I hope that Miss Lu can take care of him. Murong Ying's words have a hidden meaning. Lu Xinan says in her heart, this is giving this miss a show of strength. What a joke. Would this miss be afraid? This miss will not be scared off by this small difficulty. If you swear your sovereignty over Li Fan, this miss will not be afraid of you. Lu Xinan thinks of a way to redeem herself. Her eyes turn and says, although you're Li Fan's fiancé, it doesn't mean that you can interfere with Li Fan's private life, right? In some aspects, Li Fan still needs me. Miss Lu, this doesn't sound right. Murong lightly raises her eyebrows. For Li Fan, he only needs me. That's enough. No, the person he needs the most right now is me. Lu Xinan's voice rises by an octave. Only I can give him what a man truly needs. What a joke. Only I know what he wants. What does he want? What he wants is to be a good husband to me and a qualified son-in-law of the Murong family. You're the funny one, Miss Murong. Lu Xinan's smile was full of confidence. He wants everything a man should have, but what you said is not one of them. You know men very well. I'm not talented, I just know a little more than you. Lu Xinan looked at Murong with a little provocation, which made Murong feel very uncomfortable. Miss Lu, there's something I'd like to say. You have to know your limits. Well said. Lu Xinan nodded. You don't know your limits when it comes to Li Fan. You don't even know what he wants, yet you call yourself his fiancé. What a joke. I don't know. Do you? At least I know a little more than you. Lu Xinan's mouth hangs a smile. Muroning also seems to be smiling, but the atmosphere is filled with a terrible smell of gunpowder. These two women. Why are they at each other's throats? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Li Fan felt that his brain is a little insufficient. It's really incomprehensible. Li Fan, what's the relationship between you and this woman? I'm not jealous. I'm just asking out of concern for you. Then I really have to thank you. Li Fan resisted the urge to ridicule, and then said, she and I are ordinary friends, but there will be some cooperation in the future. It should be said that we're in a relationship of mutual benefit. Hey, your words are too harsh. Aren't we sincere and friendly business partners? Sincere and friendly your sister. How does it look like sincere and friendly between the two of us? Li Fan can't help but ridicule in his heart. But in this kind of awkward atmosphere, it's not good for him to provoke Lu Xinan, so as not to add fuel to the fire. These two women can do whatever they want. I don't want to provoke them. I can help him become the world's #1. What can you help him with? Muroning asked provocatively. I can too. Lu Xinan thought of the Vairocana Heart Sutra. She instantly regains her confidence. What you can do, this lady can also do it. What a joke. In this world, besides me, no one can help Li Fan in martial arts. As the saying goes, peaceful means before resorting to force. Muroning has already been polite. Now there's no need to be polite. You're just an ordinary person. It's best to stay away from Li Fan. Don't be a burden to our Li Fan. The one who is a burden is you. Lu Xinan didn't back down. She said, if you didn't hold Li Fan back, I'm afraid Li Fan would have developed even more. I hold him back. What a joke. You're the first person who dares to talk to me like this. Muroning angrily swung her sleeves. Lu Xinan was also unconvinced. She said, you're also the first person who dares to talk to me like this. Although you're the leader of Wulin, this is not your Wulin. This is my, Lu Xinan's, City A. As long as I want to, I can summon the wind and rain here. Oh, are you a master? Muroning rolled her eyes. Summon the wind and rain. Why don't you go to heaven? Oh my god, Muroning actually knows such a trendy word. Could it be that he had misheard? But thinking about it, I've always thought of Muroning as a very rigid and stubborn girl. In fact, she also plays LOL. It's just that her personality is a bit traditional. She definitely knows a lot about new things. Of course, that's except for things related to sex. In this aspect, Muroning was as innocent as a child. It should be said. She had been abandoned in the previous era. No matter what you say, you won't understand his heart. Lu Xinan felt that she had conquered Muroning step by step. This woman looked very domineering, but in fact, her heart was so simple and easy to fool. She only needed a few words to make her lose confidence. Enough. Muroning was a little annoyed. She swung her sleeves and said to Lu Xinan, no matter what you want to say, you're not welcome today. Send the guest away. I can go, but he will come to me sooner or later. Lu Xinan's voice was still full of provocation. She picked up her handbag and stood up, but she didn't forget to say to Li Fan, don't forget our promise. With that, she swayed her hips and left the small Western-style building, leaving Li Fan smiling bitterly. This woman was simply heaven-defying. Is she a professional at starting wars? Li Fan, I really didn't see it coming. After she left, Muroning swung her sleeves and began to show off to Li Fan, you're really amazing. You have so many women around you. It's beyond my expectations. The two of us are purely business partners. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. Although he didn't like Lu Xinan's provocation, he didn't like Muronging being so controlling. Chapter 170. Although she was his fiancée, Li Fan didn't like Muronging to control him too much. She even wanted to control him when he was just making friends. That was a little too overbearing. Moreover, he didn't have any feelings for Lu Xinan. Although her butt was perky, it was enough for him to look at it once in a while. He didn't want to have too much to do with this woman. She's just a business partner. Do you have to control her? Li Fan looked at Muronging with some displeasure. Muronging snorted, I can't be bothered with you. It's just that as my husband, I don't want you to interact with some shady people. Although that woman is a bit shady, I rely on myself to survive in the pugilistic world. It's normal for me to make some friends. Do I need a woman to interfere with this kind of thing? Since you know that she's shady, why do you still interact with her? Muronging said very directly, in short, I don't like her. You're not allowed to have any interaction with her. It's too late to say that. I've already signed a contract with her. Li Fan spread out his hands, I have to work hard for my own career. You don't have to worry about it. Career? What career? Muronging faintly felt that something was wrong and asked warily. Nothing. I'm just preparing to set up an escort agency. Li Fan decided to not tell Muronging some things. For example, the Imperial Jade Seal. If he told her, he didn't know what kind of negative impact it would have. Muronging was used to hiding some things deeply. Li Fan couldn't understand her heart, so he didn't dare to tell her too much. Escort agency. Do you know the rules and regulations of this place? Although Muronging didn't reject an escort agency, she felt that Li Fan's experience in the pugilistic world was too shallow. How could he run such a big escort agency? Do you know any sect leaders in the pugilistic world? Do you know any family heads in the pugilistic world? You don't know any of them. How are you going to be an escort agency? Of course it's based on strength. Li Fan stretched out his right hand and made a stance, I am a man who will defeat the heroes of the world. I don't rely on any connections. If anyone wants to rob me, feel free to come. Naive. Muronging raised her hand, and sword chi appeared in her palm, condensing into petals of cherry blossoms. If I wanted to rob you of your darts, how would you deal with it? Bastard! You even dare to rob your own husband's bodyguard, looks like you are the legendary shameless thief. Go to hell. Who's the shameless one? Muronging rolled her eyes and crushed her cherry blossom sword energy. If it was an expert like me who wanted to rob you, would you be able to handle it? Li Fan, do you think that you are invincible just because you have some strength? First of all, your escort agency has no staff, and second of all, it has no reputation. Why is there no one else? Am I not a person? Okay, let's say you're human. Muronging continued to remind him, first of all, your strength has just reached a higher level, and there are too many people who are stronger than you in this world. Even if you win a few robbers and make a name for the agency, it will only attract more powerful robbers, who will need to kill you to increase their reputation. This has been the case for many years. Without 100 years of history, no one can establish a truly powerful escort agency. Then let me open the window to a new history. Li Fan was already full of confidence. I won't turn back until I hit the wall. Muronging was so angry that she flung her sleeves. Since you don't want to listen to me, then go and hit the wall yourself. Thank you for your support, my dear wife. Li Fan cupped his hands, as if he was thanking her sincerely, which made Muronging unhappy. She couldn't control this man anymore. Even if he was killed, she wouldn't care. Son-in-law, have you been harassed by the embroidered uniform guards these past 2 days? Tai Zhu was still very concerned about Li Fan. Seeing that the two were silent, he asked. Although Muronging pretended to continue her cultivation, she subconsciously pricked up her ears. Recently, an embroidered uniform guard came to find me, but I beat him off. Li Fan thought of that person and couldn't help but frown. This person didn't use the martial arts of the embroidered uniform guard. Strange, the embroidered uniform guard's martial arts are very unified. Tai Zhu was also very knowledgeable about the matters of the Jianghu. The minor phaseless divine technique is a compulsory course for every embroidered uniform guard. Other than this, the rest is using concealed weapons. But he indeed didn't use the minor phaseless divine technique, but the inner taiji. Li Fan's words caused Muronging to open her eyes. Does that person have a jade-like face and likes to wear white? You've seen him before. Although I've never seen him before, I've heard of his name. Muronging forgot that she just said that she wouldn't care about Li Fan anymore. This person's talent is only slightly inferior to mine, and he's also an expert with the three-flower realm. However, he has no interest in martial arts. He should have been the leader of Wudong Mountain, but he decided to become a male model. In the end, he was expelled from the mountain. Rub. Li Fan really couldn't doubt his fiancé's words. That lunatic would definitely do something like this. Fortunately, you've never seen this man before. If you did, you'd definitely go crazy. The famous Yan Kai, Yan Ryu. How many people in the Jianghu don't know about him? Muronging smiled. What a pity. He has no interest in martial arts. If he could focus on martial arts, I might have a worthy opponent in the Jianghu. Her words were domineering, but Li Fan couldn't say anything. Muronging indeed had the strength. You were probably lucky to be able to defeat him. Muronging guessed, he had already reached the peak of strength 5 years ago. Wait! Li Fan exclaimed, that's not right. When he fought with me, he only had the strength of a higher level. He was on par with me. Either he was going easy on you, or something happened to him that caused his strength to deteriorate. Miss, I heard that when Yan Kai was expelled from the mountain, all his inner force was destroyed. Iron Pillar recalled for a moment before adding. I see. Muronging nodded. He was expelled a year ago, but in just a year, he returned to the strength of a higher level. He's indeed amazing. Don't be like that, okay? I'm also very strong. Li Fan pointed at himself. And very diligent. What kind of diligent are you? Muronging rolled her eyes. All the martial artists I know practice martial arts every day. Apart from sleeping and eating, they don't have a single moment of rest. Then don't they go to the toilet? Li Fan asked curiously. Bickering. Muronging scolded, in short, you still have a long way to go. Next time you meet Yan Kai, be careful of your life. But this Yan Kai actually joined the Genie Guard. It's really strange. Everyone has their own ambition. Muronging waved her hand. In short, you better practice martial arts. How many tigers have your strength entered? Chapter 171. Sixth Tiger. Li Fan circulated his true qi and his temples immediately bulged. If I use all my strength, I can be even stronger. Far from enough. Muronging sneered, with this strength, although you can already be considered an expert in the Jianghu, it is still too far away. If he wanted to become an expert who could take charge of an area, reaching the peak was the minimum strength. The Jianghu is too big and there are too many experts. Right now, you are too confident and have lost yourself. I don't think so. Li Fan was a little unhappy. I will still grow. So what if I reach the peak? My dream is to become a grandmaster. After saying that, Li Fan did not want to say anything more to Muronging. This woman's favorite thing to do was to strike him down. Cultivation. Only cultivation was his own way of existence. Li Fan's cultivation method was a little special. When others cultivated, they would sit cross-legged, allowing their true qi to circulate more smoothly. But Li Fan was different. The best way for him to cultivate was to enter the state of cultivation while squatting. It could train the lower body and strengthen internal force. This kind of multitasking, only a pure yang body like Li Fan could do. Li Fan had already reached the next level. Now, he could enter the state of inner vision in an instant. The true qi in his body was very smooth. Under Li Fan's control, the true qi began to flow faster. 5 of the 9 acupuncture points in his body had been opened, but the 6th was very strong and could not be shaken. It seemed that the 6th difficulty of the 7 heroes' force was still very difficult to cultivate. Just as Li Fan was cultivating, for clouds of white smoke rose from the top of his head. Seeing this, Tai Zhu could not help but cover his mouth. Heavens, for flowers opening. It is probably due to the pure yang body. Muronging was also a little jealous. There were 3 kinds of geniuses in martial arts, one higher than the other. One of them was the 3 flowers at one's prominence that he and Yen Kai had. These 3 flowers symbolized a person's essence, qi, and spirit, and were called the earth flower, the human flower, and the heavenly flower. As for the 4 flowers in bloom, it was even more impressive. It symbolized the 4 sages in the human body, the azure dragon, the white tiger, the vermilion bird, and the black tortoise. The 4 sages symbolized the 4 types of energy in the human body: happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. Just as Muronging was feeling a little envious of Li Fan's body slowly began to change. His power continued to flow through his meridians, but he suddenly felt that there was a seemingly unimportant meridian that could allow his true qi to flow a little faster. However, this meridian seemed to be blocked very tightly. It wouldn't affect him much if he didn't open it up. If he opened it up, he might even suffer from qi deviation. Practicing martial arts was extremely dangerous. One wrong step and you would be consigned to eternal damnation. However, Li Fan still decided to give it a try. As the saying goes, the bolder a person is, the more productive he is. Be bold enough to hold hands and walk in bed tomorrow. Li Fan made up his mind. Either he didn't do it, or he would do it big. He mobilized the true qi in his body, and then all of it rushed towards this meridian. However, as soon as the true qi touched the meridian, a feeling of pain instantly filled his body. This pain almost made Li Fan twitch. It was as if someone had stabbed him with 100 needles. How terrifying! This was the first time in his life that he had felt this pain. When Muronging and Tai Zhu saw Li Fan's body tremble slightly, the 2 of them looked at each other in confusion. Why would practicing inner force hurt? Could it be that Li Fan had suffered from qi deviation? Tai Zhu, protect me. Muronging couldn't let anything happen to Li Fan. She immediately stood behind Li Fan and mobilized her inner force, trying to help Li Fan channel the true qi in his body. Unexpectedly, when her palm touched Li Fan's back, a strong wave of true qi bounced off her palm. Ha! Muronging was a little surprised. Li Fan's sudden burst of inner force was so strong that even she was pushed back. She was now at least 10 times stronger than Li Fan. It was indeed inconceivable for her to be pushed back by him. At this moment, Li Fan's cultivation had reached a somewhat mysterious state. Although touching this meridian would hurt, he still endured the force and took out his true qi again and again to attack this meridian. After a few attacks, some cracks finally appeared on the meridian. There's a way. Li Fan was a little excited. He continued to mobilize his true chi and attack this fragile meridian. So what if it was painful? Only by suffering the most bitter would one be able to become a person above others. Li Fan clenched his teeth, mobilized his true chi, and attacked with all his might. His whole body felt like it was about to be torn apart. Li Fan was already covered in cold sweat, but he still managed to open up the meridian. At that moment, the true chi in his dantian poured into this meridian like seawater and then followed this meridian into the other meridians. Li Fan felt as if he had opened up all the meridians in his body. Every place was unobstructed. For a moment, Li Fan felt that the speed of his true chi circulation was a lot faster. The efficiency of extracting true chi was also higher and faster. But he didn't know that after he opened this meridian, the 4 balls of white smoke on top of his head had actually turned into 5. These 5 balls of smoke made Muronging and Tai Zhu's jaws drop at the same time. There were 3 great talents in martial arts. The worst was the 3 flowers at once prominence, the better was the 4 flowers in full bloom. And the best was the 5 flowers in full bloom. The 5 flowers in full bloom symbolized the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth in the human body. In Chinese medicine, the heart was fire, the spleen was earth, the lungs were metal, the kidneys were water, and the liver was wood. Once the 5 flowers in full bloom, the human body's liver could also become a sharp weapon for practicing martial arts. This was the so-called practicing martial arts to the 5 viscera and 6 bowels. However, the 5 flowers in full bloom was not a pure talent. It was because it needed to open up a hidden meridian in the human body. This meridian was called divine connection. Muronging had been practicing martial arts for so many years. She was a rare talent in the world, but she had never seen this so-called divine connection meridian. Muronging thought that this divine connection meridian was just a legend. The 5 flowers in full bloom was just a beautiful wish. But at this moment, this legendary scene of martial arts appeared in front of her. She had no choice but to believe it. The 5 flowers in full bloom. From now on, Li Fan's martial arts path would definitely have a bright future. Phew, Li Fan spat out a mouthful of foul air. His ears and eyes were now sharp, and they were a little better than before. Looking at the 2 stunned women, Li Fan felt a little strange. What are you looking at? No, nothing, Muronging turned her head away, not letting Li Fan see the envy in her eyes. Young master, Tai Zhu was about to speak, but Muronging gave her a look. Tai Zhu swallowed what she wanted to say. Young master, it's getting late. You should go back to sleep. You're right. I'll go back to sleep then. Li Fan stretched and stood up. Honey, do you want to sleep together tonight? Get lost. Chapter 172. Wang Chang, what kind of magic does that woman have to make you so infatuated with her? A few days later, Yang Ruining was invited to a coffee shop near the school by Wang Chang. The 2 of them were drinking coffee, and Wang Chang was dressed very handsomely today. He was wearing a black suit, which was obviously expensive. Just the golden tie around his neck was worth 100,000 yuan. She is my goddess. This is the first time in my life that I've seen such a beautiful woman. Wang Chang's Mercedes-Benz was filled with red roses. He was going to give these flowers to Muronging in a while. Young Master Yang. When the time comes, I'll leave the school's little tyrant to you. That's not a problem. Yang Ruining was not very happy when he spoke. He had been through a lot of bad luck recently. Previously, he had promised to help Wang Chang teach a lesson, but he did not manage to do so. His fiancée got an expert to pretend to be her boyfriend to disgust him. In the end, he even lost a lot of his brothers. Tang Bingyao almost slit his neck in front of him to apologize, but Yang Ruining stopped him. After all, such a capable confidant was rare. Yang Ruining would not deal with a convenient assistant just because of one failure. Today, Yang Ruining had been asked out by Wang Chang to vent his anger. I'm just a little curious. What kind of woman can make you so infatuated with her? Wang Chang, you're also a rich kid, what kind of woman have you not played with? It's really different this time. Wang Chang said excitedly, from the first time I saw her, I knew that I had fallen deeply in love with her. This is different from how I feel about other women. I have to get her. Otherwise, I won't be willing. Look at you. Yang Ruining curled his lips, looking down on Wang Chang. However, he didn't have many friends. Although Wang Chang was just a fair-weather friend, Yang Ruining didn't want to ignore him. After all, there weren't many people who were worthy of being his friend. It was just a small matter of raising his hand, so he treated it as coaxing him. I'll help you take care of that little tyrant. Yang Ruining waved his hand, just chase after the girl in peace. Thank you, young Master Yang. Wang Chang was extremely grateful, but he was still a little worried, but... Is the person that young Master Yang brought this time reliable? The expert this time is even more powerful. As Yang Ruining spoke, he stood up and cupped his hands. Fairy Shin, I'll have to trouble you to show my brother your skills. Humph. At the table next to him sat a woman in a purple dress. For some reason, half of her face was covered by an iron mask, while the other half of her face was that of a beautiful woman. Yang Ruining curiously wanted to know what half of her face looked like, but according to Huang Fufeng, his senior sister, Shen Mengqing, when she was young, in order to practice an evil poison technique, she destroyed her face. As for Zhang Yuren, it was said that Huang Fufeng had once seen him vomiting for 3 days and 3 nights, and he had been a vegetarian for a month. However, her kung fu was real. Even Yang Ruining had to be respectful to her, giving her the treatment that a master should have. Whoosh! Shen Mingjie picked up a glass of water and threw it towards them. Paw! The cup landed steadily in front of Wang Chang, and the cup of water inside had now turned into ice cubes that were emitting cold air. Oh my God! Wang Chang lightly touched the ice cubes with his finger, causing his finger to ache from the cold. Is this magic? It's not magic, it's real internal energy. Looking at Wang Chang's shocked expression, Yang Ruining's face lit up, feeling proud in his heart. This is called Ice Heart Sutra. After mastering it, the true qi is even colder than ice. In front of our fairy Shin, that little tyrant can only obediently admit defeat. That's for sure. Wang Chang nodded repeatedly. No matter how powerful he is, he's only a school's little tyrant. How can he be compared to a real master? When he sees Fairy Shin, he will be so scared that he pees his pants. Seeing Shen Mingjie's skill, Wang Chang laughed in his heart. This is great, like this, Li Fan is dead for sure. Fairy Shin, this time I have to thank you properly. Also, young Master Yang, if I can woo the goddess, I will give you my treasured Batmobile. Oh. Yang Ruining seemed to be somewhat interested. Wang Chang's Batmobile was a limited edition. At that time, Yang Ruining did not even have the time to buy it. This Yang Ruining does not have any other hobbies, but he likes to collect sports cars. Although he likes Wang Chang's car, as a young master, he is too embarrassed to say such words. Now that Wang Chang has taken the initiative to send it over, it is impossible for Yang Ruining to not be interested. Ah, goddess, the goddess is out. This coffee shop is right across from the school, so Wang Chang can see the movement at the school gate. At this time, Muronging just happened to walk out of the school. Wang Chang is like a spoiled child as he runs downstairs. Yang Ruining has no choice but to sneer at this man who is infatuated with women in his heart as he invites Shen Mingjie downstairs. These 2 days, Muronging has not been very happy. She discovered that Li Fan is a genius, making her happy and jealous, but she also discovered that Li Fan is surrounded by endless peach blossoms. He is clearly her man, but he has so many women accompanying him, which really makes her unhappy. It should be because he is unhappy after his belongings are forcefully taken. That's right. These few days, I have to keep an eye on Li Fan. I can't let him indulge himself like this. Muronging announced that she will drive Li Fan to school for the next week, which made Li Fan uncomfortable and made Lin Yuhsian very unhappy. It is really depressing to have such a domineering woman at home. However, the huge debt at home makes Li Fan can only serve the young miss. It is only a week, I have to endure it. At this time, Li Fan is carrying his school bag and following beside Muronging. A black Bentley is parked at the school gate. Tai Zhu acts as the driver, waiting for his family's young miss and son-in-law. What are you looking at? Noticing that Li Fan is looking around, Muronging can't help but say coldly. Fuck, I am not your dog. Can't I look around? Although Li Fan said so, he is more or less guilty. After all, he is looking at where Lin Yuhsian is. They usually go to and from school together. Occasionally, someone else changes, and Li Fan is really a little not used to it. Getting used to this thing is really quite scary. Goddess. Be my girlfriend, goddess. Just as the two of them are about to leave, Wang Cheng brought a car full of roses and knelt in front of Muronging. At the same time, a row of beautiful fireworks popped up behind him and bloomed in the air, which is called romantic. The tricks of the rich. Muronging, on the other hand, frowned. It was obvious that she did not like such a high-profile and pompous manner. Goddess, please be my girlfriend. Wang Cheng's face is full of admiration, but Muronging is very unhappy. Get out of the way, you are blocking the way. Chapter 173. Get out of the way, you're blocking the way. Muronging was very unhappy. If you block the way again, I'll call the police. Goddess, please give me a chance. Wang Cheng begged, look, I can give you anything. As long as you are willing to be my girlfriend, I promise to do everything for you. I don't like half-hearted men. It was unknown if Muronging's words were said to Li Fan or to Wang Cheng. Moreover, you're too weak. Give me a chance, I will become stronger. Isn't it just practicing martial arts? I've decided, as long as you promise me, I will go to Mount Song's Shaolin Temple to learn martial arts tomorrow. Muronging felt that she was speechless. This man could even think of such a method. He was simply invincible. In this way, she really couldn't directly refuse. After all, Muronging was still a member of the school's board of directors. There was no need to make things too stiff with the students. Dealing with students required some proper methods. I don't fall in love with others. Muronging could only say so. You have to try everything. Wang Cheng pestered her, making Muronging very unhappy. She almost flew up and kicked Wang Cheng's head. Wang Cheng, are you too free today? Li Fan walked to the front and glanced at Wang Cheng. Does your balls hurt? Let me help you rub them. Li Fan, you, don't be arrogant. Seeing Li Fan, Wang Cheng's calves and stomach began to tremble. I have a way to deal with you today. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Oh. Li Fan could not help but laugh. This is interesting, let me take a look. I'm not the one who's going to make a move today. Wang Cheng saw Li Fan's eyes widen and subconsciously took 2 steps back. I found a powerful helper. Saying that, he turned to look at Yang Ruining behind him. Young Master Yang, it's all up to you. Li Fan's gaze also fell on Yang Ruining, who had just walked over. He thought to himself, this guy looks familiar. When Yang Ruining saw Li Fan, his eyes widened. Even if he turned into ashes, he would still recognize him. This guy had hit him. He was the first person who had ever hit him. Sure enough, he was an imposter. So he was a student of this school. No wonder they couldn't find anything after searching for so long. Today, they found it without any effort at all. The heavens are really helping me. I, Yang Ruining, must kill him today. Yang Ruining was about to lose his temper, but then he saw Muronging beside Li Fan. His eyeballs were about to pop out of their sockets. Yang Ruining was also a confident person who had played with countless women, but this woman seemed to have surpassed his common sense. How could there be such a beautiful woman? She simply walked out of a painting. At that moment, Yang Ruining felt his heartbeat speed up. Is this the feeling of being in love? No matter what, he must conquer this woman. He had to make her submit to him. I, Yang Ruining, can't get any woman I want. She won't be able to run away. She will definitely be mine. Young Master Yang, my great cause of love depends on you. Fuck your mother. Yang Ruining raised his leg and kicked Wang Chang away, not giving him any face. Young Master Yang, you, Wang Chang was kicked in a daze, not knowing what had happened. What happened to help? Why did it suddenly become like this? This young Master Yang changed his face too quickly. What's going on? Wang Chang actually felt wronged for a moment. You toad, you actually want to woo a white swan. Yang Ruining directly scolded Wang Chang, disgusting, who do you think you are? How dare you lay your hands on such a beauty? Yang Ruining kicked Wang Chang again, don't harass this beauty in the future. Quickly scram. Otherwise, I will beat you up every time I see you. Wang Chang covered the place where he was kicked and ran away in a sorry state. Yang Ruining immediately said to Muronging with a face full of smiles, hello goddess, my name is Yang Ruining. This is my name card. He was handsome, confident, and elegant. He was especially confident that his smile would definitely have the power to kill. But what he did not expect was that this woman completely ignored his charm and coldly said, I don't care who you are, this is a school, not your romantic place. Scram immediately. This was the first time he was treated like this by a woman. Yang Ruining was actually speechless for a moment. Let's go. Muronging pulled Li Fan and was about to leave. But how could Yang Ruining let go of the fat meat in his mouth? He stopped the two of them and said somewhat fiercely, wait a minute, I know you. Yang Ruining was obviously looking for trouble. His gaze was fixed on Li Fan, as if he wanted to skin Li Fan alive. Ah, is that so? Li Fan blinked his eyes and pretended to be stupid as he looked at Yang Ruining. Have we met before? Mister, have you mistaken me for someone else? Don't play dumb with me. Yang Ruining let out a low growl, aren't you Nanan's boyfriend? Boyfriend? Murong Ying's eyebrows immediately raised. She was exceptionally smart and instantly guessed this person's name, Lu Shinan. Don't listen to his nonsense. Li Fan waved his hand repeatedly, I've never seen him before. I'm just a student, how could I know these shady people? Who are you calling shady people? Yang Ruining was even more displeased. The etiquette and bearing that he had learned in the past had disappeared in an instant. I've been looking for you for so long, and today you've delivered yourself to me. God is on my side. Yang Ruining's face had a sinister smile, today I've found an even more powerful expert. She can take your life with just a wave of her hand. What are you talking about, what expert? Li Fan continued to play dumb, why don't I understand? Fairy Shen. I'm begging you, destroy him. Yang Ruining roared. A figure suddenly flashed out from behind him. This was a woman wearing half an iron mask. She stretched out her right hand and directly grabbed Li Fan's face. Shen Mingjie was filled with confidence. She had a long reputation in the pugilistic world. The title of Ice Poison Fairy was not for nothing. In the pugilistic world, who wouldn't tremble upon seeing her? Just a little brat like him, how much ability could he possibly have? Her junior brother was also too useless. He actually lost to this little brat. This was really too shameful. Shen Mingjie's frost palm could freeze a person's entire body's blood into ice cubes. But unexpectedly, before Shen Mingjie could hit Li Fan's head, a person suddenly appeared out of nowhere. This was a beautiful woman. Her face was like a fairy from a painting, making Shen Mingjie jealous. How could there be such a beautiful woman in this world? Since she existed, why would other women be born? But why was this woman's appearance somewhat familiar? Chapter 174. Who is this witch? How dare you be so presumptuous here? Murong Ying's rebuke made Shen Mingjie quiver in fright. Murong Ying. Although Shen Mingjie rarely pays attention to a woman's appearance, but she will never forget this woman's face. After all, in the current martial arts world, she is the #1 woman, known as the legend among women. Presumptuous. Murong Ying reprimands again, you should call me Alliance Leader Murong. In the martial arts world, there are many rules. These people who practice martial arts belong to the martial arts world. And all the martial arts masters, when they see Murong Ying, must respectfully call her Alliance Leader. Alliance Leader Murong. I didn't know you were here today, sorry to disturb you. But this is a private matter between me and this kid, I hope you don't interfere. Although Shen Mingjie is very arrogant, but she does not want to provoke Murong Ying. Although she secretly does not like this woman, but her strength is there for all to see. For thousands of years, the Alliance Leader of the martial arts world, when has she ever had a false reputation? Oh. When has Murong Ying ever listened to other people's words? I am curious, what is the private matter between you and him? I was entrusted by someone, so I am loyal to him, I hope Alliance Leader. Don't interfere, even so, he does not allow you to touch him. Murong Ying says bluntly, he is my fiancé, whoever dares to touch even a single hair of his, is making life difficult for me, Murong Ying. Making life difficult for my entire Murong family. Hearing this, Shen Mingjie is a little scared. Murong family's position in the martial arts world is definitely one of the best, as the saying goes, the North Murong family is the South Sima. This is not a privilege that ordinary martial arts family can obtain. As for the Murong family's patriarch, Murong Bo, he was rumored to be a supreme expert of his generation. With him around, the position of Murong's family would be even more stable. And in this era, Murong Ying had appeared out of nowhere, bringing the status of the Murong family to new heights. No matter who you offend, don't offend Murong's family. Not to mention that his strength was inferior to Murong Ying's. If he were to fight with her, he would be the one to suffer. What, you want to fight? When Murong Ying asked this, Shen Mingjie almost peed her pants. Fuck, it's just being a bodyguard. He was clearly told to deal with some small fries, but he didn't say anything about fighting against the martial arts guild master. Alliance Master Murong, I was rude. Shen Mingjie cupped her hands. The so-called demeanor of an expert was now completely gone. Yang Ruining was still puzzled. What did Alliance Leader mean? Why did Fairy Shen suddenly become so timid? Move aside. When Li Fan saw Shen Mingjie's palm technique, he was itching to try it out. What do you want? Murong Ying frowned, but Li Fan already took a step forward. she came for me, so I naturally have to accompany her. You're crazy. Muroning reminded Li Fan, this is the famous ice poison fairy, Shenmingjie. If she makes a move, she won't spare your life. When Shenmingjie heard this, she felt a little proud. To be praised by the alliance leader, she felt really good. So what? If I'm afraid, how can I practice martial arts in the future? Li Fan rolled up his sleeves and made a starting stance towards Shenmingjie. 7 Heroes Fist, Li Fan, please enlighten me. Li Fan had already made a stance, which was a declaration of war. To a martial fighter, an official martial duel was very sacred. Even the martial arts guild master had no right to interfere. Sky Poison Sex Shenmingjie. Shenmingjie was overjoyed. What an idiot. Before she could goad him, he took the initiative to take the bait. There weren't many idiots like him nowadays. What an idiot. Muroning was a little angry and fiercely swung her sleeves. This guy was really hopeless. He clearly knew that his strength was not the opponent's, but he still accepted the challenge and even took the initiative to challenge her. Did this Li Fan's brain circuit have a problem? Didn't he reject martial arts fights in the past? Why did he become a martial arts fanatic now? You are a junior in the martial arts guild, I can't bully you. Shenmingjie brought out the demeanor of a so-called expert. In front of the martial arts guild master, she still had to act cool. I'll let you have 3 moves, come at me. Shenmingjie crooked her finger at Li Fan, causing Li Fan to smile. Since that's the case, it would be impolite to refuse. The opponent was an expert of ice palm, the same martial art that Murong loved. For such a person, he had to fight with speed. Before they made a move, he had to eliminate them first. And this Shenmingjie actually took the initiative to give him a chance, it was simply a win. But Shenmingjie didn't put Li Fan in her eyes. The opponent was not a match for a young brat. Even if he started training in his mother's womb, how many years could he have trained? And she had started training since she was 8 years old. She was already 38 years old this year. She had trained for more than 30 years and bitterly trained in the Ice Heart Sutra. Beating him was a piece of cake. And with the protection of Ice Chi, what can he do to me? Then take my first move. Li Fan suddenly took a step forward and directly sent a palm towards Shenmingjie's chest. Bear King Seal. This was an absolute art under the bear strike technique, it was definitely fatal. Shenmingjie originally didn't put this move in her eyes, but when she saw Li Fan's palm in front of her and the huge amount of chi in it, Shenmingjie's expression finally changed. She immediately raised her palm and sent a slap over, clashing with Li Fan's palm. Ice-cold palm. The 30 years of ice-cold chi in her body was poured into her palm. At that moment, Shenmingjie's palm was as white as jade and even carried a dense cold chi. But Li Fan's Bear King Seal was not a casual palm. His palm contained an explosive power, which was learned from Liao Bing's thunderclap palm. As the 2 palms clashed, the air distorted. The 2 palms exploded with powerful chi, clashing with each other and tearing each other's bodies apart. A layer of white frost appeared on Li Fan's body, as though he was frozen. Blood immediately appeared at the corner of Shenmingjie's mouth. It was obvious that Li Fan's palm had injured her internal organs. Muroning watched from the side, her heart was secretly anxious, but she didn't know what to do. The 2 of them were competing with their chi. One side was weaker, the other side was stronger. They could only see whose chi was more robust. And Shenmingjie had not only cultivated for 30 years, she also had a unique ice attribute, which was extremely destructive to the internal organs of the human body. When Li Fan exchanged palms with her, he was really at a disadvantage. But Shenmingjie was shameless. She said she would let him have 3 moves, but in the end, she couldn't hold back on the first move and made a move to resist. Li Fan did not make a sound. He had already predicted that Shen Mingjie would make a move. At the same time, all the qi in his body was mobilized, crazily gathering in the direction of his palm, clashing with Shen Mingjie's terrifying ice-cold qi, trying to determine who was stronger. Chapter 175. Li Fan's character was very stubborn. Once he set his mind on something, even 9 bulls would not be able to pull him back. He was determined to fight with Shen Mengqing, and Murongning would definitely not be able to stop him. At this time, the two of them had already fallen into the most basic internal energy collision. Although Li Fan and Shen Mingjie were both experts, Li Fan had just crossed the threshold. After successfully refining Old Man Yamada's Vajra subduing demon, he only had the strength of 6 tigers. Shen Mingjie had already trained for more than 30 years and had the strength of 3 dragons. 1 dragon was equivalent to 5 tigers. In other words, Shen Mingjie's strength was close to 3 times that of Li Fan. It was very disadvantageous for Li Fan to compete with an expert who had 3 times his internal energy. In particular, Shen Mingjie's internal energy contained a strong ice attribute. This internal energy was like a poisonous snake, following the palms of the 2 people and swimming towards Li Fan's internal organs, constantly freezing his meridians and blood. If not for the fact that Li Fan had a pure yang body and a body full of yang qi, he would probably have turned into a snowman. Li Fan also felt that he was being rude. Competing with Shen Mingjie's internal energy was obviously a bad idea. He instantly fell into deep thought. While resisting Shen Mingjie's internal energy, his brain was spinning quickly. Li Fan seemed to have thought of something. This Shen Mingjie's martial arts was too strange, and it had an ice attribute. It was really sinister. Since she was sinister, why should he be lenient? Li Fan immediately transformed the internal energy in his body, allowing him to enter the state of Toad Strike from Bear Strike technique. At this moment, Li Fan's palm seemed to have become a black hole. It was originally competing with Shen Mingjie's internal energy, but in the blink of an eye, it began to actively absorb internal energy from Shen Mingjie's palm. Shen Mingjie was still feeling proud. This silly kid actually came knocking on her door and even competed with her internal energy. As the saying goes, he did not walk the road to heaven, but barged into the doorless hell. But before she could be proud for too long, a terrible thing happened. The true qi in her body suddenly went out of control and started to crazily flow towards Li Fan's body. Good lad. Shen Mingjie was not stupid. She immediately figured out what was going on. Her expression changed dramatically. She didn't have time to think and immediately cut off the true qi in her right hand. Paw! Their palms bounced off each other and they each took 2 steps back. The frost on Li Fan's face melted little by little, and Shen Mingjie, who was originally proud of herself, was now pale, big drops of cold sweat constantly flowing down from her forehead. Murongning noticed something and frowned, but she didn't say anything. Alliance Master Murong, your Murong family has always been open and aboveboard, and you are respected by the people of the martial arts world. But I never imagined that your fiancé was actually such a sinister person, cultivating such an evil martial art. You really know how to slander others. Li Fan wasn't angry as he looked at Shen Mingjie in front of him and chuckled. You also have the right to say that other people's martial art is sinister, really shameless. This dragon toad absorption of water of mine is indeed specially used to absorb other people's power. But I only use it on evil people like you. It is legitimate self-defense. Even if I were to scratch your chest, dig out your eyes and pull out your cock, it wouldn't be too much. You are shameless. You are even despicable. Li Fan rolled his eyes. The 2 of us are fighting all right. You are allowed to use evil palm techniques, but I am not allowed to use poison to fight poison. Since your skills are inferior, why don't you go back and look for your mother? Lad, I will kill you. Shenmingjie was angered by Li Fan's words. Ignoring the loss of internal energy, she raised her palm and swept towards Li Fan. This palm still had the elegance of the frost palm. Wherever the palm wind went, cold wind rustled, chilling into the bone. Right now, Shenmingjie must be on guard. If he wanted to use the dragon toad absorption of water to sneak attack her, it would probably be useless. Li Fan no longer met Shenmingjie's palm head-on. At the same time, because the frost palm was like a ghost and the angle was tricky, Li Fan was unable to use Snake Strike to defend and counterattack. To deal with an internal energy expert like Shenmingjie, Li Fan decided to fight speed with speed. His body sank and instantly entered the state of Tiger Strike. At that moment, all the chi in his body was injected into his 10 fingers, strengthening the strength of his fingers. Everyone had to keep a trump card. Li Fan decided to keep Toad Strike as his trump card. Unless it was the moment to kill, he would not use this martial art. Before Shenmingjie's palm landed on Li Fan's body, Li Fan had already raised his claw like lightning. His fingers were like tiger claws, tearing at Shenmingjie's arm, bringing with it dark red blood. Shenmingjie's arm was in pain. Li Fan's tiger claws almost broke her bones. How did this man train his external martial arts to such a high level? Even if he started practicing martial arts in his mother's womb, it would still be impossible to train to such a high level, right? But Tiger Strike had always been the most ferocious attack. After Li Fan forced Shenmingjie back with one move, he once again pounced forward, followed by a series of claw attacks. But Shenmingjie was after all a senior expert. After she suffered a loss once, she would not suffer a second time. Now Shenmingjie had calmed down. She reached out her hand and slapped away Li Fan's attack. Then she took 2 steps back and readjusted her posture. Li Fan was a little excited. An expert was indeed an expert. She actually saw through his attack so quickly. Brat, your time of death has come. Shenmingjie seemed to be very angry. She clenched her right hand beside her leg. Cold air gathered and a gloomy aura made Li Fan subconsciously shiver. To be able to force me to use this move, your death is worth it. As she spoke, Shenmingjie's hair moved without wind. It was like it was blown up by true energy. As for Shenmingjie's entire left hand, it had already turned into white bones. It carried a horrifying aura. Your cold ice palm was actually trained to the 8th level. Muronging looked at Shenmingjie's palm and could not help being shocked. Exactly. This 8th level cold ice palm, I have yet to let others see it. Alliance Chief Murong, today I will use your fiancé as a sacrifice for this palm. As she said, Shenmingjie suddenly leaned forward. Her palm suddenly slammed towards Li Fan's head. If this palm landed, perhaps even 9 lives of Li Fan would not be enough. This time, Shenmingjie used her full strength. Li Fan actually felt an unstoppable pressure. But at this critical moment, Muronging made her move. She did not make any unnecessary movements. She just stretched out 2 fingers and poked Shenmingjie's palm. Puff! Shenmingjie's confident 8th level cold ice palm was broken just like that. Her palm trembled. She took 2 steps back. Her expression was a little fearful and a little unwilling. Alliance Chief Murong. You actually interfered in our match. I interfered. How about it? Muronging flicked her sleeves. It was obvious that she was starting to act shamelessly. Chapter 176. Shenmingjie's bellyful of words were forcefully swallowed back. Damn it, the chief of Wulin was acting shamelessly, how could she continue? She had a bellyful of anger, but now she could only forcefully swallow it. Chief Murong. This matter, my sky-poisoned sect will remember. Shenmingjie cupped her hands towards Murong. The mountains will not change, the rivers will flow forever, we will meet again. See you again. Rules must be followed, so Murong still politely returned the greeting. Yang Ruining was a little unable to react. How could the goddess that he liked was also a martial arts expert? She had only used 2 fingers to pierce through Fairy Shin's terrifying palm strike. This kind of woman, it would be very difficult to pursue. But the more difficult it was, the more Yang Ruining wanted to challenge. This beauty, give me a chance to get to know you. Yang Ruining was unrelenting. He knew that the best way to deal with a woman was to pester her. Not to mention that he had such a high status, such a big family business. All the women in his city who wanted to throw themselves at him were already lining up in the neighboring city. With his conditions, wouldn't it be easy to conquer a beauty? But Yang Ruining miscalculated. Not only did Shenmingjie ignore him, she even scolded him. Keep a meter away from me, otherwise I can't guarantee that you won't lose an arm or a leg. The chief of Wulin was so domineering, Yang Ruining was very embarrassed. He didn't know whether to advance or retreat. Li Fan, on the other hand, was unusually silent, standing beside Murong, not saying a word. Beauty, don't be so heartless, can you give me some face? Yang Ruining decided to add fuel to the fire, so he said, I am Yang Yishan's son. Who is Yang Yishan? Although Murong knew the matters of Wulin like the back of her hand, she didn't know much about the situation of the secular world. Tai Zhu was secretly whispering to Murong at the side. Big miss. This Yang Yishan is the secretary of H Province's provincial committee. And Yang Yishan's father is Yang Jingye, the founding father of Huaxia, a member of the Politburo Standing Committee. Any one of these identities could scare someone to death. But it didn't work on Murong. She was a hero in Jianghu and was born in an aristocratic family in Jianghu. She had nothing to do with politics. On the contrary, many big shots in the political circle often came to them to ask for some inner force training methods. Practicing martial arts could not only strengthen one's body, but it could also cleanse one's bones and marrow, extending one's lifespan. This was the first reason. The second reason was that the experts of every big family were China's national treasures. China's officials weren't stupid and knew the value of these people. Just like the huge Murong family, who knows how many politicians want to curry favor with them. To others, the son of a provincial party secretary was someone they had to fawn over. Including that Wang Chang from before. His family background was already very overbearing, but after being slapped twice by Yang Ruining, he could only go back honestly. However, the person he met was Murong. Get lost. Murong mercilessly scolded. Her voice contained a little bit of true qi, causing Yang Ruining's body to tremble. You're not qualified. Let your father talk to me. I'm not convinced. But Yang Ruining was not willing to let go just like that. He asked, how am I inferior to him? He's just a poor student, and I'm a prince. Not only in a city, but even in China, who doesn't know me, the young master of the Yang family? Even if I want the stars and the moon, there will be people who will pluck them for me. So what? Murong did not seem moved at all. My future man will be a great hero with an indomitable spirit. You're just relying on your family background to have people respect you. And if you don't have these, what's so great about you? This is what God gave me. Why wouldn't it be? Yang Ruining was very stubborn. This is the fate that God gave me, I will naturally accept it. I was born stronger than this man, how can he compare to me? Maybe he's not as good as you today. Murong smiled, and said confidently to Yang Ruining, but it won't be long before you can only look up to him. How dare you have the confidence to say such a thing? Because he's the man that I, Murong-ing, chose. He's destined to be a dragon among men. This sentence made Li Fan, who was still deep in thought, raise his head and look at his fiancée in surprise. The two of them had been together for a long time, but this was the first time he heard her say such words. It was impossible for Li Fan not to be surprised. These words were really not something that Murong-ing would say. She usually wished that she could say that she was a scum to be happy. I won't end it like this. Yang Ruining felt as if he had been greatly insulted today. I will tell you what a truly strong man is. Alright, I'll wait and see. Murong-ing didn't put Yang Ruining in her eyes at all. She dropped these words and got into the car with Li Fan. Looking at Li Fan's somewhat enthusiastic eyes, Murong-ing felt somewhat uncomfortable. She turned her head and looked at the scenery outside the window that was constantly retreating. What are you looking at? If you look again, I'll dig out your eyes. AI, how did you suddenly become a female Rakshasa? Who's a female Rakshasa? Murong-ing glared at Li Fan. Weren't you praising me just now? How did you change in the blink of an eye? Who praised you? Did you hear wrongly? Didn't you say that I'm a dragon among men? I just don't like that yang something. Murong-ing immediately said, I was just saying some nonsense. Don't take it seriously. Fuck. Li Fan was choked with anger by these words. This Murong-ing, would she die if she didn't provoke him? So, it's better if you don't have any wishful thinking. Li Fan was unhappy in his heart. This woman, would she die if she didn't mock him? No, such a deep hatred must be avenged. Wife, actually you don't know. Recently, I've been suffering from chi deviation. I feel that I don't have much time left. Scram. Li Fan can only helplessly shrug his shoulders. It seems like this wife of his doesn't fall for this trick. Wife, recently I feel that my waist is a little sore and I also like to vomit. I think it's because of pregnancy. I'll kill you. Wife, we are husband and wife. Why don't we have any trust between us? Li Fan shouted in displeasure. But Murong-ing laughed. She looked at Li Fan with a gaze that seemed to be able to see through his thoughts. Li Fan, after getting along with you, I've already concluded a set of rules. That is, whatever you say, I'll treat it as dog fart. Fuck. Li Fan rolled his eyes. Wife, actually you're very beautiful. You're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. But occasionally you'll say one or two human words. Murong-ing laughed even more happily. But soon, she couldn't laugh anymore. Big miss, there's a message from home. It says that the master wants to visit the son-in-law's house. Chapter 177. What the hell? Is there any more terrible news than this? Not to mention Li Fan, even Murong-ing couldn't react for a long time when she heard the news. Murong-bo is actually coming here. Did I hear it wrong? Although it's my father, but in this situation, it's too late to hide from him, but he actually came here? You. Are you sure? Murong-ing asked with some apprehension. No. He said he's here to see how eldest miss is doing. Tai Zhu confirmed the news, but it made Li Fan and Murong-ing both break out in cold sweat at the same time. This is definitely not good news, right? No, I have to think of a way to send him away quickly. Murong-ing thought for a moment, then said, just tell him that I've recently gone to the mountains to cultivate, and I'm not at home. Master said that if eldest miss is not at home, he will have a good chat with son-in-law about life. Damn. Li Fan's cold sweat flowed even faster. Sure enough, he doesn't come with good intentions. Li Fan. Li Fan recently organized a camping trip at school, and he's not at home either. Murong has already lost her sense of propriety, Li Fan said. What the hell is this reason? It'll be a ghost if people believe it, unless Murong Bo's cerebellum is not fully developed. Master said. If son-in-law is also not at home, he will wait at home until the two of you come back. Sure enough, Tai Zhu added another sentence. Li Fan knew that Murong Bo, that old fellow, is definitely an old fox. With just the two of them, it's still not enough to fight with Murong Bo in a battle of wits and courage. Moreover, Master will be here at 7:00 tonight, and he asked us to prepare dinner. Got it. Murong frowned deeply. Obviously, she didn't want to meet her father. The main thing was that Murong Bo and Li Fan didn't get along with each other. They weren't a harmonious father-in-law and son-in-law. For the first time, Murong began to worry. Li Fan, when the time comes, no matter what, you must endure it. Murong had already begun to instruct Li Fan, and you have to dress up a little, according to father's idea of a standard son-in-law, change yourself well. Fuck, why? I, Li Fan, want to marry a wife. Do I need to have a split personality? Why do you have so much nonsense to say? Could it be that you want to fight with my father? Hurry up and send him away, okay? Murong was already furious. She reprimanded him, you're already in danger. I haven't even taught you a lesson, and you're already getting impatient. Why are you lecturing me? It's not like I've done anything evil. Li Fan was very puzzled. You don't remember. Fine, I can remind you. Murong asked straightforwardly, tell me honestly, what's going on with your dragon toad's ingestion of water? Hey, you're talking about dragon toad's ingestion of water. Li Fan felt that Murong was making a mountain out of a molehill. Isn't it just a martial art that absorbs internal energy? It's not like I hang it on my hand every day. This martial art, I only use it to deal with those martial artists with bad intentions. Absorbing internal energy, this is an evil martial art, do you know? What is an orthodox martial art? What is an evil martial art? Li Fan was dismissive. This thing is the same as a pistol, it's a killing weapon. But in the hands of different people, it has different meanings. Dragon toad's ingestion of water is the same. It's not an orthodox martial art, nor is it an evil martial art. It's in my hands. Whether it's good or bad completely depends on what I use it for. Idealistic. Murong unreservedly mocked, in this pugilistic world, is there anyone who is willing to vouch for you, Li Fan, that you're a righteous hero who won't use dragon toad's ingestion of water to do evil? There shouldn't be anyone, after all, I don't have a name in the pugilistic world. Relax, you'll have one soon. Murong directly rolled her eyes at Li Fan, your previous name was Murong fiancé. And after your battle with Shenmingjie today, your name will soon become Murong fiancé who practices evil martial arts. Fuck, why? My martial arts were trained by myself, why do I have to bring you along when I call out my name? No, you're mistaken. Murong reminded Li Fan, it's when I call out my name, I will bring you along. Fucking tofu, sooner or later I'll change this. I don't know if I'll live to see that day, but I hope that our child will be a great hero in the future. When Murong said this, her face was filled with anticipation and motherly radiance. Our child won't be like you, receiving the most elite training at a young age. I can already feel that he will be the #1 person in the pugilistic world. I say, you only have the baby in your eyes, you don't care about the big baby. Li Fan felt extremely unbalanced in his heart, my strength is also trained step by step. Moreover, dragon toad's ingestion of water is not an evil martial art, it has never been used on a good person. The root of your dragon toad's ingestion of water is the pure young body. Murong eyes were indeed very sharp, and the pure young body has absorbed 11 years of my true qi. Am I not a good person? You're not a good person to begin with. Li Fan, you might be itching for a beating. You see, who would be so violent? Li Fan immediately starts scolding. Right now you're practically a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus. Paw. Murong Ying's 2 fingers jabbed over, as if breaking the air, emitting a crisp sound. Following that is a pu sound, Li Fan moved sideways, his 2 fingers already jabbing into the leather seat behind him. Ayaya, look at your bad temper. What a waste of this leather seat. How much money is this, squandering, too squandering. If my mother were to know that she has such a squandering daughter-in-law, I reckon she would die. Such a good leather, such a pity. This is not something you should consider. Muronging stretched out 3 fingers, now I want to set 3 rules with you. 3 rules. Li Fan was taken aback when he heard that. Why are they playing this game? That, we are a couple, why do we need to set 3 rules? It seems so distant. First, in front of my father, you must listen to everything I say. If I don't let you do it, you must not do it. What the? She's already starting to talk. Li Fan can't help but want to ridicule, but seeing Murong Ying's serious look, he held it in. Second, no matter what my father says, you only need to agree verbally, whatever you think in your heart is up to you. Then third, you're not allowed to be talkative. After explaining, Muronging reaches into the armrest and takes out a pair of very refined glasses. Chapter 178. What's wrong? Are you nearsighted? Li Fan could not help but ask. Although he did not have the so-called glasses fetish, but if Muronging wore glasses, perhaps she would have a different flavor. For example, Liao Wushuang, the beautiful teacher Liao. She wore a pair of black-rimmed glasses, looking cute and cultured, very good. However, Murong Ying's beauty was a kind of otherworldly beauty. If she used glasses, that kind of vulgar thing, on the contrary. It would be a bit shameful, tsk. Just as he was imagining things, Murong Ying poked him with her finger. Li Fan was startled and jolted awake. Fuck, what are you doing? Are you trying to murder your husband? Li Fan looked at Murong Ying's 2 fingers. This thing was a big killer. Aren't you a little too timid? Murong Ying could not help but roll her eyes. I won't really poke you to death. People make mistakes, horses make mistakes. Li Fan said with lingering fear, even a gun can misfire. My true chi is safer than a gun with a safety. Murong Ying was incomparably confident. Li Fan muttered in his heart, why doesn't this woman go to heaven? There's nothing absolute in this world. Don't be too confident. If you really poke me to death, where are you going to find such a good fiancé? It doesn't matter if you die, as long as your bloodline can be inherited. Murong Ying looked at Li Fan with a smile, making Li Fan lose his confidence. What are you laughing at? I may not have comprehensive knowledge in some aspects before, causing me to be a joke. But after I crammed some knowledge, I also know the conditions for pregnancy. Murong Ying's words made Li Fan feel a chill in his heart. He had a bad premonition. In order to be able to have outstanding descendants after you die, I once collected some of your chromosomes while you were asleep. What's that? Li Fan's bad premonition was finally confirmed. Fuck, if you want to collect semen, then collect semen. Why do you need to collect chromosomes? Who are you trying to pretend to be a scientist with? How did you collect them? Li Fan began to fantasize. Could it be Murong Ying? What a beast. How dare you do such a heartless thing while I'm sleeping? Hee, you think too much. Unexpectedly, Murong Ying didn't look embarrassed at all. I'm the leader of the martial arts world and the successor of the Murong family. How could I do that kind of thing? I asked Taiju to help you get it out. Young miss. Taiju shyly covered her face. Didn't we agree not to tell anyone? I'm so nervous. Fong my ass, drive properly. You only care about covering your face and don't look at the road ahead. Li Fan's heart really collapsed. He felt that he was no longer pure. He was ruthlessly tainted by Taiju. Your chromosomes have already been frozen by me. Muroning seemed to be a little proud. Even if you die, I won't worry. Worry your sister. Li Fan felt something blocked in his heart. He couldn't recover for a long time. He was filled with despair about life. What should he do? Am I going to lose my first time just like that? Why do I have a faint feeling of wanting to cry? Don't be sad. Taiju will be responsible for you. Murong Ying's words made Li Fan want to cry even more. Young master, it's also my first time. I'm so shy. Taiju's words also made Li Fan collapse again. What the hell is this? Not good. It's really not good. But there was no way. Alright, it's useless to say anything else. Quickly put on the glasses and let me take a look. Muroning and Li Fan had been together for the past few months, and they had all sorts of confrontations. However, she also lost more than she won. After all, Li Fan's mouth was never forgiving. Forget it. I accept my fate. Li Fan sighed deeply. Then, he picked up the glasses and put it on the bridge of his nose. This was a pair of flat glasses without any prescription. After wearing it, he didn't feel dizzy. Muroning sized up Li Fan and then nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. You look more like a dog now. Fuck, how can you praise people like this? When did I say you were a human? Alright, I'm not a human. I'm a dog. Li Fan barked twice. Muroning nodded. If you say so, I won't refute you. I'm a dog, and you're a dog wife. Wife, you don't have much to do. Let's see when we mate and have a bunch of puppies. Believe it or not, the next time I poke out your eyeballs. Muroning stretched out 2 fingers. On them, her super strong sword aura was condensed. Alright, pretend I didn't say anything. Li Fan shrugged. Under the pressure of power, he could only lay low for a while. Also, my father is a very traditional person. He probably came here today to pick a fight with them. Remember the 3 rules I made with you. Don't do anything bad. My father's strength is much stronger than mine. If he wants to deal with you, I can only give you a grand funeral. Fuck, it's just father-in-law coming. What's there to be afraid of? Li Fan threw caution to the wind. Father-in-law and son-in-law have been enemies since ancient times. What's there to be afraid of? At most, I'll be a good man again in 20 years. Why do you make it sound like you're going to die for justice? My father is not a Japanese spy. I might as well go back to the time of the War of Resistance. Li Fan raised his arms and shouted, at that time, I'll carry a gun and join the army. With my martial arts, I'll beat the Japanese until they cry for their parents. At that time, I'll also form an armed team to tear the Japanese apart. Do you think there weren't any experts at that time? Muroning reminded Li Fan. At that time, the Chinese experts were also dispatched. But there were also many experts from Japan. Both sides also fought a great battle. In the end, both sides suffered. After the surrender of Japan, we also signed a non-aggression treaty to prevent the deaths and injuries of the experts from both sides. But from then on, the 2 countries did not distinguish who was the orthodox in martial arts. Everyone said that they were the orthodox and that their martial arts were strong. Papa, I just had a fight with a guy named Yamada a few days ago. Yamada Kazuo. When Muronging heard this, she was suddenly stunned. She looked at Li Fan. You fought with him? Yes. Li Fan nodded. This old guy's strength is a bit strong. He's at the peak. TSK, I thought the Japanese only knew how to cut their stomachs. About 3 years ago. I met him once. Muronging continued, although I defeated him, he also severely injured me. This Yamada Kazuo, a disciple of the Jin Gang, practiced the Jin Gang demon subduing force. I still have a deep impression of him. This person is very strong. You were lucky to be able to escape from him. I didn't escape. I killed him. Chapter 179. Li Fan's words make Muronging stunned for a long time. What did you say? I seem to have misheard. I said I didn't escape, I killed him. Li Fan shrugs his shoulders and repeats. Bragging is not right. Muronging silently says. Fuck tofu, who's bragging? That old man's corpse is still lying in his treasury. Moreover, I used the dragon toad inhale water to absorb some of his Vajra devil power and practice my bear strike technique. With that, Li Fan sits in the carriage and raises his right hand. A circle of chi erupts from his palm, causing some of the dust in the carriage to float up. Just like what he said, Muronging finally sees the long-lost Vajra devil power. How is this possible? Muronging thinks that there is something wrong with her eyes. She carefully looks at Li Fan's palm. With her profound skill and rich experience, she can see the strength in Li Fan's palm with a glance, but she can't believe it. His strength is at least several times stronger than you, how could you win against him? A great master who has reached the peak of perfection, Li Fan's level is incomparable to him. Moreover, Yamada Kazuo's strength was personally tested by Muronging. 3 years ago, he was already a great master. 3 years later, he should be a lot stronger. Sigh, don't tell me there is really no trust between us. Li Fan seems to be very sad, but Muronging is no longer falling for this trick. After all, she has been fooled too many times, and over time, she has developed a comprehensive immunity. Right now, Muronging is almost half believing Li Fan's words. Whatever he says, she will first deny it in her mind. I can also have trust, but unfortunately, you are not worthy of my trust. Muronging's words blacklist Li Fan. If you perform better in the future, maybe I will change my opinion. Wife, your words hurt my heart. Father-in-law is likely to see me in despair. Despair your sister. Perform well. As Muronging spoke, she looked left and right before leaning forward and suddenly kissed Li Fan's cheek. Feeling his wet face, Li Fan was a little surprised and looked at Muronging in shock. At this time, Muronging sat there as if nothing had happened. She seemed to be resting with her eyes closed. Li Fan touched his face reluctantly and said, Sometimes I should deal with the relationship with my father-in-law correctly. As the successor of the new generation of the motherland, I can't embarrass an old man. Fine, I'll be magnanimous. No matter what father-in-law says, I'll pretend I didn't hear it. That's good too. If you don't say anything, the situation will be under control. Muronging heaved a sigh of relief. She only needed to pacify one of them. Being the leader of the martial arts world, I'm really suffocating. It would be better if Li Fan was a little more obedient. Taizhu, when we get home, immediately prepare Master's favorite dinner. As for Li Fan, don't practice martial arts today. You, just read in the study. Read? Yes, my father likes people who are knowledgeable. He doesn't like martial artists. What the? Li Fan said, "Why didn't I see it at your house last time? But I'm still a high school student. I'm a serious and cultured person. You're not cultured. You didn't even go to college. When I reach the age, I will naturally go to college, okay? Don't tell me I have to study in high school for the rest of my life. I don't know about that. Anyway, your level of education is still too low." Murong seemed to be ridiculing Li Fan. Li Fan was unhappy, as if you're that tall. You're only 1 or 2 years older than me. When I was your age, I had already finished my postgraduate studies. My God, is this girl the reincarnation of Mary Sue? You say, do you still need to go to college for your postgraduate studies? You can just study with me. You have the final say on whether it's a boy or a girl. Humph, I'm too lazy to talk to you. Murong rolled her eyes at Li Fan and began to look down. It seemed that she was going to cultivate and no longer paid attention to Li Fan. Li Fan also did not provoke her. The two of them were silent all the way home. Soon, they returned home. Taizhu had already told them in advance that the bungalow seemed to have taken on a new look. The servants who had just arrived had cleaned it up, and not a single speck of dust could be seen. Li Fan took a look. Even the wooden stake that he used to practice martial arts was waxed. It was so polished that his reflection could be seen. My God, do you need to be so exaggerated? Could it be that old fellow Murongbo has some strange obsession with cleanliness? For a while, you can just stay in this study room. Murong had built a very beautiful study room on the second floor. The two of them mainly practiced martial arts every day. The training room had never been empty. However, this study room was a lot more deserted. The bookshelves were usually covered in dust, but today they were all wiped clean. The bookshelves were filled with all kinds of books. They were from all countries. Are there any powerful secret martial arts books that can open my eyes? No. Murong said straightforwardly, I told you before, but you didn't want to read them. Here are some world-famous books. You can enlighten yourself and replenish your dry heart. This is also a world-famous book. Li Fan picked up an English version of Harry Potter. Murong pretty face blushed. This was read by Taizhu. Yes, it was read by Taizhu. Murong finally found a scapegoat. She was silently despised by Li Fan. All right. Just consider it as Taizhu's hobby. Li Fan was too lazy to care. He flipped a page and found that he could already recognize a lot of words. Learning English during that period of time was not in vain. If he and teacher Liao had more supplementary lessons, he should be able to improve a lot. Li Fan sat in the study room and was really reading the English version of Harry Potter with great interest. Can you understand it? Murong was somewhat doubtful. It's all right. It's a bit like the classical Chinese version of the Three Kingdoms when I was young. Li Fan said without raising his head, half of it depends on reading, and the other half depends on guessing. Just when Murong wanted to find an opportunity to attack Li Fan, the doorbell rang. Why are you here so early? Murong glanced at the clock on the wall. There was still half an hour before the agreed time. Li Fan also put down Harry Potter. He thought to himself, since my father-in-law is here, I have to entertain him. But when Taizhu opened the door, the two of them were dumbfounded. They saw Lu Xinan standing outside the door. After opening the door, she immediately gave Li Fan a flirtatious look. My dear business partner, I'm here to see you. Bang! Murong reached out and immediately closed the door.
Chapter 180. Li Fan himself was also stunned. Fuck, how could it be her? The dignified daughter of the Lu family actually personally came to their house. Open the door, quickly open the door. Why aren't you guys opening the door? Lu Xinnan was shouting happily outside, as if she would not stop until the door was broken. But how much strength could Lu Xinnan have? Although the door was still intact, the continuous knocking made Muronging feel more and more annoyed. Why did she come? Muronging frowned as she looked at Li Fan. Did you arrange to come? I'm being wronged. Li Fan cried out, I haven't contacted her for a long time, how would I know she would come today? Would I believe you? Believe it or not, it's all the same. I'm not lying to you. Li Fan looked like he was about to collapse. I've been busy practicing martial arts and revising for the whole day, lest the school finds an excuse to expel me. I don't have time to take care of extra women now. And, that's right, you already have your hands full with Lin Yuhsin. That's right. Hey, what do you mean by that? I mean it literally. Muronging snorted, thinking of her bet with Lin Yuhsin. She felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. She did not know what happened to her at that time. In a moment of impulse, she actually made that bet with Lin Yuhsin. It was not that Muronging did not have confidence. Her father always said that she was the most beautiful woman in the world. Any normal man would definitely fall in love with her. Her father was an expert, he would definitely not lie. But now, she did not know why. Looking at the inexplicable rotten peach blossoms around Li Fan, Muronging had a feeling of worry in her heart. This was the first time in her life that this kind of feeling appeared. Li Fan, let me ask you, do you love me? Muronging's sudden question stunned Li Fan. Holy shit, what's going on? What a sudden question. Was this a question that Muronging should be asking? Wasn't that a little girl's catchphrase? I'm just testing you. Muronging turned her head and looked out of the window. I don't think that's love. Li Fan told the truth. But I definitely have a good impression of her. After all, we've been together for so long. Other than being a little bad-tempered, arrogant, stubborn, and not like a woman, you're pretty good. Muronging was so angry that she wanted to kill someone. Was there anything else? Open the door. If you don't open the door, I'll get someone to tear it down. Outside, Lu Xinnan was still yelling happily. Those who didn't know would think that the legal wife was here to catch the mistress. Let her come in. I have a feeling that she won't give up. Li Fan felt that Lu Xinnan could sometimes be terrifyingly stubborn. Once a woman fell ill, even a few bowls couldn't pull her back. I think you're missing her. Muronging crossed her arms. Then you can accompany her out. Damn, this is so weird.
Lu Xinnan's side was a bit weaker, while Muronging's side was a bit stronger. After getting rid of the two women, Li Fan finally felt relieved. You two stop messing around. Also, that snake woman, Miss Lu. Today, my father-in-law is coming. I don't have time to play with you. Hurry up and leave. When the cooperation starts, I will naturally come to find you. Li Fan began to ask them to leave. But when Lu Xinnan heard this, she instantly became interested. She threw the big hammer to the side, lowered her body, and went into the room behind Li Fan. Thank you for your hospitality. I even brought a gift for you. Lu Xinnan said as she took off the silk scarf on her neck. It's a French master craftsmanship, a special item for the royal family. If you can't buy it outside, I'll give it to you. Feel free to play with it. Fuck, it's obvious that you temporarily used your own things, okay? Gift your uncle. Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why did you come in? In any case, I'm not going out. If you have the ability, kill me. Lu Xinnan began to act shamelessly. You think I don't dare? Muronging Yue's brows furrowed as she raised her palm. Chapter 181. If this Muronging got angry and hit someone, how could Lu Xinan be her opponent? Li Fan hurriedly stopped Muronging and advised, "My ancestor, don't kill anyone." Fine, fine, fine. Leave this matter to me. Muronging was just a little impulsive. As the leader of the Wuling Alliance, she should set an example and not make a move on ordinary people. As Li Fan stopped her, she went downhill and put down her palm. Snake woman, today is a very important day. Can you not make trouble? Li Fan went to speak to Lu Xinan. How am I here to make trouble? I'm obviously here to visit you as a guest. Lu Xinan crossed her arms, sat on the sofa and looked at the decoration of the house, but the decoration style of this house is a bit outdated. How about I find someone to help you redecorate it? I guarantee that it will be brand new and more luxurious than an 8-star hotel in Dubai. Forget it. Li Fan waved his hand. Just tell me, are you leaving or not? I'm not leaving. Bite me. Lu Xinan had already made up her mind. She reached out and touched the sofa under her body. This leather is not good at all. The style is too outdated. Oh my god, Li Fan, how do you live in this kind of pigsty? How about you go to the apartment I arranged for you? A small house with a courtyard and a north-facing south-facing Songjiang. It is definitely a golden house. Even if you die in the future, you can preserve the value of the house for your descendants. Master Bao. When Li Fan was thinking about how to drive Lu Xinan away, a black Maserati slowly came from the outside. Oh no, my father is here. Muronging's face changed. Li Fan looked at the maid standing next to him and suddenly had an idea. He pulled Lu Xinan and said, "Snake woman, pretend to be my maid, please." Bullshit. I was born to be a young lady, how could I be a maid? Help me once, and I'll promise you one thing. Li Fan stretched out a finger, and Lu Xinan smiled. Actually, I did study acting at Beijing Film Academy for a period of time a few years ago. It's a good opportunity to give it a try. Damn, you changed your words really fast. Tai Zhu, quick, take her to change clothes. Li Fan reminded Lu Xinan, remember, don't talk nonsense. Otherwise, our agreement will be invalid. Don't worry. Either I don't agree, or I will definitely do it. With a face full of smiles, Lu Xinan followed Tai Zhu to the servant's room to change her clothes. But to let a man bring this lady to change clothes. Don't worry, she's a pure girl, the very pure kind. Li Fan reassured Lu Xinan. Just as Lu Xinan was about to refute, Tai Zhu covered his face, twisted his waist, and said coquettishly, "You're so annoying. Young master, you're making me blush." Cold sweat dripped down Lu Xinan's forehead. The house that Li Fan lived in seemed a little abnormal. No wonder Li Fan's character was a little abnormal. She finally found the reason. No, she was so kind. She must save him from this fiery pit. But first, she had to see what the father of the chief of Wuling was like. Although Lu Xinan had seen many things, she had never seen those legendary masters. With Tai Zhu's help, Lu Xinan quickly changed into a standard maid's uniform. She was a beauty after all. Even in a maid's uniform, she was still charming. When she walked out of the room, Li Fan couldn't help but rub his eyes. My god, was this the legendary uniform temptation? Lu Xinan combed her bangs into a ponytail. She wore a black and white maid uniform with white stockings on her legs. There was no sense of incongruity at all. Sure enough, cosplay was the same. He needed to find a beauty. Only then would there be no incongruity when cosplaying any character. Li Fan was sighing with emotion, but Murongbo had already pushed the door open and entered. This legendary super expert shouted at the top of his lungs as soon as he came in. "Baby, where's my big baby? Dad missed you so much. Quick, let Dad hug you." Murong Ying's face turned green. She pushed Murongbo away. "Dad. Can you watch your words? What are you afraid of? There's no outsider here." Murongbo snorted. She suddenly saw Li Fan. "Oh right, I forgot. There's indeed an outsider here." Lu Xinan saw the scene just now. She was a little confused. But when she heard this, she made a note in her heart. Looks like this Murong's family head doesn't like Li Fan. "Sister, brother-in-law, I'm sorry to disturb you." And Murong Ai, this little demon girl, also walked in. Today, this little demon girl was wearing a red and black dress. She looked as obedient as she could be. But Li Fan knew that all of this was just a false appearance. This woman was a terrifying demon girl. Murong's family didn't know that she knew the Frost Heart Sutra. Even if they knew, they wouldn't believe it. Although Lu Xinan's nickname was a snake and scorpion woman, she was still far from being evil. After all, Lu Xinan's evil was in her bones. She was the same inside and out. The most terrifying thing about Murong Ai was that she made everyone think that she was an obedient girl. "What's wrong, brother-in-law? Do you hate me?" Murong Ai looked at Li Fan's hateful eyes. Her eyes couldn't help but turn red. "I know I'll disturb you and sister. But I really miss sister too much. I haven't seen her for a long time, boo-hoo. Brother-in-law, I'm wrong. Please don't be angry with me, what the?" Looking at Murongbo and Murong Ying's red eyes, looking like they wanted to eat him, Li Fan almost vomited blood. This little demon, she's starting again. "Xiao Ai, your brother-in-law didn't mean that." Murong Ying gently stroked her sister's hair. "There's a new person in the house. He might not be used to it. Don't worry, sister will teach him well." "What do you mean teach me? You're going in the wrong direction, okay?" Hearing this, Li Fan cursed in his heart. But in front of Murongbo, he abided by the agreed rules. He didn't say anything and pretended not to hear. "My good daughter is right." Murongbo also nodded repeatedly. "This man needs to be disciplined." "Why don't you let someone discipline you?" Li Fan secretly rolled his eyes. "Master, miss, dinner is ready." Tai Zhu also changed into a maid costume today. But this maid costume was simply a kind of abuse for her. Murongbo and the others seemed to be used to it. This old fox glanced at her, then his eyes suddenly fell on Lu Xinan, sizing her up. At that moment, both Li Fan and Murong Ying were a little nervous. He wouldn't see any flaws, right? Chapter 182. Li Fan muttered in his heart. The three women in this room. Well, Tai Zhu was naturally not included. None of the three women were easy to deal with. They were all very smart. Murong Ying was just a little more overbearing, Lu Xinan was a little more selfish. And Murong was an absolute black-bellied woman. As the saying goes, 3 women in a play, plus a stupid father-in-law. Well, this troupe was complete. It was hard for him. It was not easy to act this play. Murongbo looked at Lu Xinan from head to toe and seemed to be thinking about something. Li Fan and Murong Ying secretly looked at each other. Both of them revealed a trace of worry in their eyes. Could it be that there was a flaw and Murongbo found it? But Murongbo just glanced at it and then said casually, "Good daughter, don't keep such a beautiful maid at home in the future. It's not safe. I'm afraid some people can't control the thing in their crotch." Li Fan broke into a cold sweat. Fuck, why didn't this father-in-law go to heaven? Thank you for reminding me, father. Muroning also didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but she subconsciously agreed with her father's words. However, it's good if he can run away with this girl. Murongbo touched her chin and thought, in this way, my baby daughter can return to father's side. Ha ha ha. I say, little girl, what do you think of your son-in-law? If you are willing to live with him, I will give you 1 million yuan. Master, you're too kind. Lu Xinan hurriedly waved her hand. She seemed to be shocked, but she kept cursing in her heart. Old man, I will give you 10 million yuan. Take your daughter and get out of here. But she, Lu Xinan, would definitely do what she promised with Li Fan. Master, please have your meal. Tai Zhu reminded him again, and only then did Murongbo react. Oh right, now that you mention it, I'm a little hungry. My two darlings, come and eat with me. It's been a long time since we've had a meal together. Li Fan fiercely glared at Murongbo's back and cursed him. Damn daughter complex. Who would have thought that the master Murongbo, who had caused a sensation in the pugilistic world, was actually a complete daughter complex. You won't let Jiang Feng come in and eat with us? Murongning noticed a thin figure standing outside the door and couldn't help but ask. Don't worry about him. He's been practicing martial arts recently and doesn't eat past noon. Murong waved her hand as if she didn't care much about her disciple. Jiang Feng stood outside the door, motionless like a door god. It was already late autumn, and the cold wind was bone-chilling. Li Fan couldn't help but feel a little sympathetic. It seemed that practicing martial arts with Murongning was much better than practicing with Murongbo. After entering the dining room, the long table was filled with Murongbo's dishes. But at this time, Murongbo didn't have the arrogance of a master. Instead, she personally divided the food for the two women. When you two were young, you two were very gluttonous. The two of you would have fought over a chicken drumstick. Murongbo didn't forget to lament about the past while eating. It's all in the past, don't mention it anymore. Murongning was very embarrassed to talk about these things in front of Li Fan. It's my fault. Murongbo picked up a chicken drumstick for her sister and then said, I was ignorant at that time and liked to fight with my sister for everything. When I grow up, I must be filial to my sister and give all the good things to my sister. Xiao Ai is getting more and more obedient. Murongbo was very gratified. Li Fan secretly rolled his eyes, thinking, obedient my ass. Brother-in-law, do you not like me? Murongbo looked at Li Fan and asked with some grievance, Xiao Ai will be filial to brother-in-law in the future. I won't make brother-in-law angry. Brother-in-law, don't hate me, okay? Okay, I promise to love you. Li Fan didn't wait for the others to speak and quickly nodded his head in agreement. I don't know what kind of demon this Murongbo is going to do, let's kill her first. Murong Ai was obviously firing at him time and time again, but no matter what technique she used, as the saying goes, if soldiers come, I'll counter them with arms, and if water comes, I'll block it all. Li Fan made up his mind, so his attitude became very good and very sincere, making Murongbo unable to find any fault. Today, Li Fan wore a refined mirror and dressed like a scholar, making Murongbo feel a lot more comfortable. Needless to say, this is definitely Murong Ying's idea. This daughter of mine has grown up and is starting to help outsiders. Sure enough, a grown-up girl can't be kept at home. Thinking about it makes me sad. Li Fan, how's your training recently? Murongbo's gaze suddenly fell on Li Fan. Li Fan raised his head and his heart shivered, thinking, sure enough, here it comes. This old man rarely comes. If he doesn't target me, I'm afraid he won't be happy. Thank you, uncle, for your concern. I have made some progress. Li Fan pretended to be modest, but Murongbo chuckled, Xiaoying, you should teach him. I hate people who like to talk big the most. Uncle, although my strength is not good, I never talk big. Li Fan was still neither servile nor overbearing, ignoring Murong Ying's gaze at the side. Okay. Murongbo nodded, then pointed to the last chicken leg on the plate in front of her with her chopsticks. If you can take this chicken leg away, I'll consider what you said is true. How can I do that? I don't have any pursuit for food. If uncle likes to eat chicken leg, just take it away. If I tell you to take it, then take it. Murongbo was very unhappy. I'm doing this to verify whether your words can be trusted or not. Don't you dare. Since that's the case, then forgive this kid for being rude. Li Fan was also impolite. Without using chopsticks, he directly grabbed it with his hand. This made Murongbo somewhat surprised. This Li Fan actually grabbed it with his hand. Too shameless. Murongbo immediately stretched out her chopsticks, trying to clamp Li Fan's hand. But Li Fan's hand retracted like lightning. He used the great sage picking star technique, ready to grab that chicken leg again. But Murongbo's chopsticks were also superb. No matter where Li Fan's hand came from, there was no way to escape from his chopsticks blockade. Murongbo looked expressionless, but there was an indescribable pride in her eyes. But Li Fan was already prepared. He knew that this chicken leg would not be so easy to get. His other hand secretly reached under the table, multitasking. While Murongbo was concentrating on sealing himself with chopsticks, true energy erupted from his palm under the table. Chapter 183. How could this piece of chicken leg resist Li Fan's true chi? It directly flew up and floated in the air, becoming a blooming life. Murongbo sneered, seemingly not taking Li Fan's move seriously. The chopsticks in his hand seemed to have eyes, continuing to chase Li Fan's palm. As long as he stretched out his hand, the chopsticks followed like a shadow, making Li Fan unable to touch the chicken leg flying in the air. The chicken leg was about to fall, but Li Fan still didn't panic. He slowly tried to catch the chicken leg with both hands. In a few seconds, the two people's hands and chopsticks collided countless times. Regarding Li Fan's phantom-like technique, even if Murongbo didn't like it, he really had to admire it in his heart. In just a month, he actually improved a little. But even so, he's not worthy of my daughter. Murongbo was ready to completely block Li Fan's hands and make him despair. His chopsticks clamped 2 fingers of Li Fan's 2 hands at a time. In this way, he blocked all of Li Fan's attacks. The old man glanced at Li Fan with a smile, meaning, what do you think? You can't do it anymore, right? The chicken leg was about to fall on the plate, but at this moment, Li Fan suddenly opened his mouth and took a deep breath. The chicken leg was directly pulled up by his inhalation, and then he bit it in his mouth. Murongbo was stunned. He didn't expect this at all. Li Fan, this kid, could actually control his true chi to such an exquisite degree. Moreover, he kept attacking with both hands to numb himself, making him think that he could only use 2 hands to make moves. In the end, when he thought the dust had settled, he used his trump card to suck away the chicken leg. In a small confrontation, Murongbo, this great master, lost. This made Murong somewhat unable to accept it in her heart, but she had nothing to say. As the saying goes, if one is willing to bet, one must be willing to lose. Li Fan had made such great progress in such a short period of time. Even Murongbo could not help but be a little jealous. Could this really be the effect of the pure young body? However, other than absorbing true chi from women, this pure young body could at most increase the speed of one's cultivation. Even so, it was impossible for him to be this fast. The main thing was that these external and internal force control techniques were definitely not something that a pure young body could teach. Could it be that Murong taught them? However, Xiao Ying's forte shouldn't be in this area. She basically had no talent in teaching. Murong re-examined Li Fan and made a new judgment about him. Could it be that this youth still had some hidden potential in his body? If Murong Bo knew that Li Fan had the highest five-flower physique in martial arts, he would either firmly control Li Fan in his hands or kill him. Murong seemed to know this, so she didn't mention Li Fan's physique to her father. Moreover, Murong had also asked Li Fan not to enter the state of cultivation in front of outsiders. "Uncle, I've let you see a joke." Li Fan continued to pretend to be humble. "If it wasn't for Uncle deliberately letting me, how could I have the opportunity to eat this chicken leg? It's good that you know, your martial arts are still too far away." Murong Ying's sharp eyes were obviously inherited from her father. Murong Bo calmed down and ridiculed, "Don't think that you can be complacent just because you've reached the next level. There are still too many people in this world who are stronger than you. Uncle is right, I've learned something." Li Fan cupped his hands. Murong was still a little nervous. After all, she knew Li Fan's temper very well. He was a docile donkey. Usually, it was fine if she went along with him, but once he was provoked, he basically wouldn't care and would definitely make a scene. Li Fan's personality was like the monkey's son. As for her father, he was also a hedgehog. If he was provoked, he would definitely be stabbed with blood. When the two of them were together, they were basically natural enemies. She remembered that it was the husband who was busy dealing with the relationship between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. On her side, she had to be busy dealing with the relationship between the son-in-law and son-in-law. She was the dignified leader of the martial arts world. Why did she have to study these three vulgar things? So annoying. In the future, you have to practice diligently, so that you won't drag down our Murong family's reputation. Murong said on Weibo. Li Fan nodded repeatedly, suppressing his displeasure. This was how tragic it was to marry into someone else's family. This was the reason why he was so resistant to marrying into Murong's family. Although it would save him a few centuries of hard work, he was afraid that he would never get the slightest bit of respect in Murong's family. It was very helpless, but it was the truth. However, if he were to be separated from Murong like this. For some reason, Li Fan seemed to be a little reluctant. Could it be that he had fallen in love with Murong? Li Fan was muttering this matter in his heart. After all, he didn't know what love was, and he had no experience in love at all. In the past, his family was strict, and any signs of puppy love would be strangled to death. It was still naive when he was in kindergarten. At that time, there was a girl in the class who was very beautiful, and many boys wanted to sleep with her during their afternoon nap. They even fought. Later, the little girl was also very resourceful. She would sleep with whoever gave her the most candy at noon. Murong continued to enjoy his dinner. As a martial artist, he consumed a lot of energy and ate a lot. While they were eating, he couldn't control his mouth and kept on talking. "Big baby, I recently met with the people from the Nangong family.
Their young master is in his early 20s. He is young and promising. The Nangong family is good at music, and their internal energy is outstanding. I see that nephew Nangong is also proficient in music, and he looks like Panan. I really like him. Dad, recently, Li Fan has also been studying music." Murong knew that Murong's Weibo was trying to brainwash her again, so she immediately said, "It's also a small achievement." "Fuck, when did I study music?" Li Fan was stunned at that time. "Does playing the flute count?" "Oh, really? Then play a piece for me." Murong rolled her eyes and said, "He studies the piano, and I want to buy one today. But I haven't bought it yet, so I can't play it for you for the time being. It's okay. Murong's Weibo laughed. I'll ask someone to send one by air. Li Fan broke into a cold sweat. The content of their conversation was too explosive, and he couldn't stop them at all. Let's do it another day. I'm a little tired. I want to rest after eating. Muronging tried to avoid the topic. She was just a little unconvinced, so she pushed Li Fan to the teeth of the storm. Then even if Murong's Weibo was too lazy to care about it. When he was about to wave his hand to continue eating, Murong curiously asked. Can brother-in-law play the piano? I like the piano the most. I want to listen.
Chapter 184. Listen to your sister. Li Fan knows that Murong loves this girl on purpose. She wants to hear me play the piano. Bah, she definitely wants to see how I make a fool of myself. Since my little baby has requested it, then Li Fan, you play one. Murong wiped her hands, and the servant next to her immediately handed over his phone. I'll order a piano. Li Fan, do you like a normal one or a triangle one? Fuck, I like a thong. Li Fan wants to kill someone. He feels that he can't bear it any longer. Muronging also seems to feel that Li Fan's patience is decreasing. She quickly said. Xiao AI, it's too hasty to buy a piano just to play a song. She rolled her eyes and said, although I don't understand music, I understand that a person who likes music must be very careful when choosing an instrument. Later, I'll go to a piano shop with your brother-in-law. When he chooses a suitable instrument, I'll play it for you. How about it? Li Fan wants to give Muronging several thumbs up. If this woman is not so strong, she would really be a good wife. I'm sorry, sister. My request is too much. Murong AI somewhat guiltily bowed her head. I always have no sense of propriety, making things difficult for sister and brother-in-law. I'm sorry. No, Xiao AI is the cutest. Muronging somewhat pitifully stroked her sister's hair, while Murong looked at Li Fan with even more anger in her eyes. Fuck, this has nothing to do with me. It's your eldest daughter who kept saying it, young master. I didn't even say a word. This family of psychopaths, I've had enough of them. On the other hand, Lu Xinan secretly wanted to laugh. Li Fan was humiliated in Murong's house. Although she was a little unhappy, she didn't know why she was a little gloating. Humph, Li Fan, who told you to choose Murong's family? If you had followed me, would you still have to endure this? Servant, what's wrong with you? Just as Lu Xinan was in a dilemma, Murong Bo suddenly yelled at her. Lu Xinan was stunned and looked at Murong's blog in confusion. Can't you see that there's no wine in my glass? How did you teach him to be so insensible? Lu Xinan was speechless. This old man was really enjoying himself. I'm sorry, master. I've just arrived and don't know the rules. Please forgive me. She could only swallow her anger and step forward to pour wine for Murong. Enough. Looking at Lu Xinan pouring half a glass of red wine, Murong Bo immediately scolded her. His voice was like thunder, scaring Lu Xinan so much that she almost threw the wine bottle. How can you pour wine? Do you need to pour so much wine? Do you know that the taste has been ruined by you? You're really useless. You can't even be a servant. You probably won't have any future in this life. Lu Xinan strongly resisted the thought of smashing the wine bottle on Murong Bo's head. She lowered her head and apologized. Tai Zhu quickly stepped forward and poured wine for Murong Bo. What's the use of keeping this kind of servant? Quickly resign. It's not like our Murong family can't afford to hire servants. Murong Bo was very unhappy and scolded Lu Xinan. Lu Xinan kept her head down and didn't say a word. Li Fan felt that it was a little difficult for the girl. After all, she was the daughter of a rich family. When had she ever been wronged like this? Usually, people from all walks of life flattered others. Now she was ordered around by a strange man. If it were him, he might not be able to bear it. Unexpectedly, Lu Xinan really didn't say a word. Good job. Leave quickly. Don't make the master angry. Tai Zhu waved his hand and let Lu Xinan leave. I'm also full. I haven't finished reading today's book. I'm going to read. Uncle, please forgive me for leaving first. With that, Li Fan wiped his mouth, got up and walked to the study. Seeing Li Fan leave, Murongbo was happy. Good, good, good. The outsider has left. Dad, what are you talking about? Li Fan is not an outsider. Murongning seemed to be a little unhappy. That's right. Dad, how can brother-in-law be an outsider? Murong AI suddenly said something good. I think brother-in-law is quite good. Unfortunately, we've all grown up. I miss the words I said to my sister when we were young. The two of us should marry the same man. In this case, my sister and I don't have to be separated. My little daughter is really naive. Ha ha ha. Hearing these silly words, Murongbo suddenly laughed, making Murong AI blush. I've let you see a joke. Xiao AI, you've grown up now. You can't say such things. Muronging looked at her sister. Sister will find a suitable husband for you. He must be a dragon among men. Only then will he be worthy of you. I'm not in a hurry to get married. Murong AI said very seriously, I still have to work hard to learn martial arts and help sister carry forward the family's martial arts. Xiao AI is really sensible. While her sister praised her sister, Murongbo chuckled and said, I haven't taken a bath with my daughter for a long time. It seems that you two were not allowed to take a bath together since elementary school. It's rare for us to get together today. How about you accompany Dad to take a bath and rub Dad's back? Dad, I want to practice my cherry blossom true chi with you. Murong Ying's eyebrows jumped. Murongbo quickly lowered her head and continued to eat. At this time, Li Fan has returned to his study to hide in peace. This study has a very good layout. There are several rows of antique bookshelves and a small balcony with a hanging chair on it. Li Fan held a Harry Potter book in his arms and sat on the hanging chair. While enjoying the moonlight, he looked at the half-understood book in his hand. This was the mood he wanted. This place was better than being bored by Murongbo outside. People must be self-reliant. At home, Muronging is strong, Murongbo is unreasonable, and there is also Murong AI who is always waiting to spoil him. In a few days, he was afraid that he would not be able to stand it. Just when Li Fan was planning to concentrate on reading and studying, the door of the study was gently pushed open. He saw Lu Xinan wearing a maid's outfit quietly sneak in. What are you doing? Seeing Lu Xinan, Li Fan was a little surprised. He quickly lowered his voice and asked. Humph, you really know how to find a place. Lu Xinan pouted, for your bet, this lady sacrificed a lot, do you know? Yes, 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 I made things difficult for you today. Li Fan also felt embarrassed, but then he thought, but if you didn't come to make trouble today, you wouldn't have suffered this grievance. You mean it's my fault? It's my fault, it's all my fault. Tell me, what do you want me to do? I'll promise you. Li Fan's heart softened, while Lu Xinan laughed. Chapter 185. Lu Xinan's smile made Li Fan feel uneasy. Don't covet my body. I'm not that kind of person. Li Fan immediately hugged his shoulders and looked at Lu Xinan warily. Pfft. Lu Xinan scolded, who would be interested in a guy like you? I'm just thinking about what I should ask you to do for me. Be more reliable. I won't do something like selling my body. Get lost. Who wants your stinky body? Lu Xinan looked at Li Fan in disgust. But on second thought, she sat down on the sofa opposite Li Fan. If that's the case, I'd like to enjoy the feeling of being a master. She stretched out a hand and hooked it at Li Fan. Come here, give this miss a massage on the shoulders and legs. Don't go too far. Li Fan seemed to be annoyed, but Lu Xinan immediately said, Hey, hey, hey. You promised me one thing. I'm not going too far. I just want you to be my servant for a while. Can't you do that? Don't forget that I've been your servant for a long time. When have I ever served anyone? I've even been scolded. Fine, fine. What's the big deal? Do you want me to dig coal for you? That's not necessary. Hurry up and massage my shoulders and legs. Got it, Shaoli, do a good job and I'll reward you. Lu Xinan smiled, but Li Fan knew that this was not a normal smile. It was more like a naughty one. Shaoli, my legs are a bit sore. Come here and give them a good massage. Don't you practice martial arts? Your hand strength should be good, right? Can you call me by my name? Don't call me Shaoli. It sounds like a eunuch. Shaoli is so kind. Lu Xinan said, I like to call you Shaoli. You're my servant now, so you must listen to me. Do you understand? Little Li. What the fuck? Li Fan was so angry that his teeth itched. This Lu Xinan is still breathing. He really shouldn't have made this promise with her. What a pain in the ass. However, since it was a promise, Li Fan could only squat down and massage Lu Xinan's calf. Why don't you have any strength? Are you still a man? Ah. Are you going to break my leg? Why don't you have any sense of propriety? You can't even be a servant. What a waste. Fuck, she was really applying what she had learned on the spot. She had even used it on herself. Li Fan had no choice but to follow Lu Xinan's wishes and give her a massage according to her request. Li Fan's fighting skills were not learned for nothing. When he massaged, he could stimulate the acupuncture points on Lu Xinan's body to give her a deeper massage. Lu Xinan enjoyed this treatment. Even if it was uncomfortable, it was Li Fan who was giving her the massage. This was more comfortable than anything else. Looking at Lu Xinan's satisfied expression, Li Fan couldn't help but curse her as a pervert in his heart. This woman really likes to build her happiness on her own pain. He finally understood. If it wasn't for the mission to cooperate, he would really want to stay away from this woman. Shaoli, I didn't realize before that your ability to massage people's bones is also so strong. Lu Xinan couldn't help but let out a soft moan. In order to alleviate this invisible charm, Lu Xinan began to find some topics to talk about. I think you can put off the matter of your escort agency. Why don't you make a blind massage first? I'm not a busy person. You're right. It's my fault. Lu Xinan nodded, it should be a pervert's massage. Snake woman, are you looking for a fight? Look at you, why are you so violent? Lu Xinan scolded him. As your friend, I'm thinking of you. It's all for your own good. Not only are you not grateful to me, you're even scolding me. Sigh, sure enough, in this society, it's hard to be a good person. That's enough. Li Fan was speechless. This woman was really full of tricks. No wonder after mingling in society for so long, this woman had become a demon. Being too close to her, he had to be 120% vigilant to prevent her from having any bad thoughts towards him. Otherwise, if he was sold by this woman, he might even have to count the money for her. Her level of black-bellied was not inferior to Murong's. These two women were both good at acting. Li Fan, are you really not going to consider following me? Lu Xinan still did not give up. This lady is not stupid. I can totally see that you're not happy in this house. Since you're not happy, why do you want to continue living? When you come to my place, this lady promises to give you the best treatment. Villa, luxury car, status. You can make your own decisions, and no one will order you around anymore. What you said is very tempting. Li Fan pondered for a moment, then said, but I don't want to ask for charity from anyone. My future path will be paved by myself. I'm very grateful that you're thinking of me. As for this question, let's end it here. Why are you so stubborn? Lu Xinan angrily rolled her eyes. I wanted to help you but was rejected. How can you be like this? I'm really sorry. I'm just a bit stubborn. Li Fan said with a smile, including everything in Murong's house, it has nothing to do with me. I make my own decisions about my own fate. You're annoying. Lu Xinan was a little unhappy. As a dignified lady, everything was always within her grasp. But she just couldn't handle this matter. He was just a high school student. Why couldn't he do what she wanted? Lu Xinan was indeed very annoyed, extremely annoyed. She had never encountered such a thing since she was young. For a rich young lady like her, it was truly torturous. It was heart-wrenching. It was really annoying. Give me a foot massage. Lu Xinan ordered angrily. Li Fan was almost drunk. Do your feet stink? Stink your sister. You're the one with stinky feet, your whole family has stinky feet. She pointed to her feet and said, this lady's feet smell good. Good. Do you know? This is the first time I've heard of anyone's feet that smell good. Li Fan was very annoyed. Did you put perfume on your feet? It's a natural body fragrance, do you understand? I've heard of body fragrance before, but this is the first time I've heard of it coming from the feet. Li Fan wiped his cold sweat. Snake woman, I only found out today that you're not a human. Get lost. You're the one who's not a human. She originally wanted to order Li Fan around, but she didn't expect to be angered by Li Fan. Just as Lu Xinan was thinking of a way to deal with Li Fan, footsteps came from outside. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.